Ladies love the skin.
Ow.
Bring it a little bit closer. The good skin, that is. That's why having a proper skincare routine is very important, and you need to feel the teach. The process is so easy, just 4 steps. You got your daily face wash. That's going to clean your face up nice and right. You got your exfoliator scrub. That's going to open up your pores. You got your AM moisturizer with the SPM 20, which is going to protect you from the sun. You also got your PM moisturizer, which is going to make sure your skin is protected throughout the night. Tej has tons of reviews from dedicated customers across the world. I know I said a lot, but it's okay, because guess what? It comes with an instruction card to explain to you in detail what to do morning and night. And because Tej is a sponsor, they're offering my family 30% off along with a free gift. Just click that link that's in the description and feel the Tej.
Happy Friday. You know, speaking of teach, you know, it's a lot of men out here who need a little teach in their lives. I'm just saying. How's everybody doing? We have Marky Mark, Enas, the AP, and the HD. I am Shay Monet, and this is a Chic critique.
You starting early throwing shots.
We're here to help people. I like to be helped. Do you know how much I have learned from you guys? I have learned a lot from you guys. This is not just one of those things where we're just giving information. We're receiving information as well. So I help you, you help me. Teamwork.
You're on mute, Marcus.
So what?
Did you receive a new smoke alarm battery?
Who, mine?
Mm-hmm.
That's a carbon monoxide detector, not a fire detector. Smoke detector. Detector.
Did they get the cookies?
You know, they came over here not for the carbon monoxide detector. They came over here for, because the carbon monoxide detector is my alarm system company, not, you know. But they came over here because I had a gas leak. My stove was tripping. It just started clicking, all of them, and it wasn't even on. They just started all clicking together. I was like, oh shit. And I had about
you got a digital stove?
I have a gas cooktop. You know, the one that just sits, not the full stove, but it just sits on top, and you connect the gas line to it.
Okay.
Choosing a house like fire. Ugh.
You control it from there.
Yeah.
I bought a new one.
Well.
Whoa. Who knew those things were so expensive? Like,
Says the lady with vaulted ceilings.
Right.
I like to ball on a budget, though. I really, really do. So I like to keep my money in-house. Income. I like to keep it in. Not throw it out. You know what I'm saying? So you guys mute. So you guys, we are talking about cheating. Cheaters. You know the guy who walks around with the camera and he be showing pictures of the mate? Cheaters. Who cheats the most, men or women? Who y'all think cheats the most, men or women?
Women.
I think if you stay,
You know, I said women. Who else? Who else has an opinion on this?
I say that men cheat the most, but I think that the difference is negligible. And I don't think that men and women, they don't cheat the same way oftentimes.
Okay. And how was that?
Most of the time we consider like cheating is like infidelity for most men, like, you know, like sex and of course all that jazz, right? But the way that women cheat sometimes seems a little bit more subtle And so they could be, they ain't act on it because you ain't gave them a reason to, but they got it in the chamber. Versus guys, you know what I'm saying? They don't leave stuff that they got in the chamber. They usually go and like fire off the things that they trying to do. Versus women's like, hey, I got it. Don't make me have to use it. You know.
A threat of cheating. How about you, AP? What do you think? Men or women, who are the most at cheating? I've never cheated, first and foremost, but I'd be interested to know your opinion on that.
As a reformed cheater, I believe it's probably close to the same. I just think men probably get caught more. Like I think that that we're so loose with it and carefree is typically how we get caught. We I don't want to say we don't care, but I mean shit, we don't do well with covering lies.
You know, it was so funny, and I'm trying to think of, am I going to mention this tonight before I mention it right now? We're going to go into, let's look at the clip first, okay? Because I like to get the meat, like this is going into the remainder of the conversation.
You just gonna skip Marcus.
Oh, Mark, that is, men or women? No? What was that? Is that you're showing us that you don't have your ring on? Is that what you were showing us?
No, I think the segment of men that women be talking about that get all the women, they cheat the most, and then followed by women, then men. So I think it's segmented.
You separate the men. We're gonna separate them later. We're gonna separate the men and the women later. Okay, but go ahead.
Yeah, because I mean, men typically have cheated due to opportunity, and if you don't got opportunities to cheat, you ain't cheating. But if you got all the opportunities to cheat, it's possible you would cheat. Women have all the opportunities to cheat, so it's possible they cheat. But you mix male nature in with the opportunity, then you get a more refined or inclined person to cheat.
So we're gonna get into that. We're gonna table that thought, Marcus, until a little bit later. Okay, but right now I have it. Who got me echoing? Okay, so I'm going to show you this little video, a little clip, just going into this conversation. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that video? Y'all agree with that?
Which part? Which part?
Well, which part do you not agree with? Or do you just agree with everything?
Can you replay it?
Yes, I can. So I can let me replay.
Okay, the part that I agree with is that so who you think might like money might not be the motivator, but somebody that's quiet and chill about shit that they know ain't gonna get, because what, like, women can't be known for having sex with everybody and maintain their reputation in this society. So if they go ahead and do their thing, it's got to be where it don't come back to them. That's why typically when people think about girls trips or going to a whole nother high school or a whole nother college or separating from where people who know you will be at, is when the wild things that they may want to do can come out, because it's not going to come back to them. So the quiet dude represent that, but in town, because you know he gonna keep it pee and not say nothing. So I agree with that part. Do I think, again, I gave you my breakdown on what I still believe the same thing, that a certain segment of men probably cheat more than everybody, then followed by women, and then if an opportunity is presented to other men. But if those other men move into that other segment through some means, they'll also probably cheat more.
AP?
He basically echoed exactly what I just said. But This is what I'll say about Country Wayne. This is his mantra. There was Brenda, Letitia, Linda, Felicia, Dawn, LaShawn, Inez, and Delisha, Teresa, Monica, Sharon, Nikki, Lisa, Veronica, Karen, Vicky, Cookie. Oh, he met her at an ice cream parlor. Like this dude got what, 10 kids?
Yeah.
8, ranging 3 to 16. Yeah, he know a little bit about the cheating. So he just echoed what I said.
HD.
Yeah, so I think there's some validity to what he was saying as far as like women seem to be more effective cheaters as far as like keeping it under wraps. I think that I don't think that women cheat more than men, only because like Marcus said, is that there's a lot of risk. So they rather just have the threat and the security of having something to fall back on than actually acting on it if they don't need to. So I think that's more reasonable. But I do think that Country Wayne himself is an interesting person, and he's definitely had enough experience with women to really see the differences between how women move when they want to do something that's considered cheating versus how men move. We just doing it. Like, oh, this is just opportunity, and this is gonna be a fun time. And yeah, that's about all I got.
Inaz, thank you for being so patient.
So I agreed with just about everything he said in the video, except for one small part. The part where he was talking about why he didn't understand that women would want to be good women to men. That part didn't make any sense to me. And it was slight. It was really quick. He sandwiched it between a couple of things. I don't think women really work like that. I think, and I know people hate when other people say this, but if you're that dude, she's not cheating, even if she has it in her. She is not doing it if you're that dude. I think it's not all women that cheat. I wouldn't even say most women, but it's enough of them that they're a large minority. And I think that outweighs the men in the second category that Marcus was talking about that don't have the opportunity to cheat. I think women have sex so readily available to them that some women don't have the discipline to keep their knees together. I think some women are rebellious in the sense of they're just going to do what they want to do regardless of how it comes off. And I think some women, it's more so the optics, right? To what he was talking about, is like you're selective about who you cheat with, somebody where it's never going to come out. So when you total up that sum, it's not most women, but there's enough of them that they outnumber the men.
Thank you guys. So you know what? And I'm gonna bring all this together because all of these topics kind of are gonna come together to paint a bigger picture. A big picture that to me became clearer over me looking at these during the week, more about women. But go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
I want to add one more thing. So there's the reason I think it seemed to that small minority, I was talking about, the reason I think that it seemed like so many women cheat is because when they sometimes they could cheat and pretend to have relationships, and the men really don't understand. So they're not just cheating with the side dude that know he the dip. She might have 3 dudes that may think he her man. Like, so those 3 dudes will say women cheat in abundance, but it's the same one woman, similar to the men.
You know what? When I think of things, right? So one, I believe I think of cheating as it relates to married couples, right? I don't think that cheating really is amongst people who are single, unless you have an agreement like we're like partners. We don't want to do marriage. We're in agreement with that. I think a lot of people are in situationships. It's kind of hard not to cheat in a situationship because y'all ain't even together. You ain't think y'all together, but you're not. So with that being said, I would need clarity in that area. We talking about married people? Are we talking about single people who are just dating each other? Like, what are we looking at when we say people are cheating, right? Because I don't think Country Way is cheating with married women. He's probably cheating with women who are in relationships, but he may not be cheating with married women. So those are two very different things, in my opinion.
Tanya, Diane, Laureen, and Carla. Keep going.
Right. I'm sure all of those women that DMX named, they were all single women. Now they may have Josh, Tommy, Michael, and Charles on the side, but I think they were all single technically. Okay, so I think that's important to know. Also, I do believe that women, if they were to cheat, they are better at it, because if you go to a restaurant, if you go out of town, you sleep person, you can forget about it. It's like a time away, come back. Whereas men usually repeat. Oh, let me do this. Repeat. So if she allowed him to do it one time, he'll probably keep going to that same chick. It starts to form not necessarily a relationship. Well, it is kind of a relationship on the side. And that's when he really gets, because that woman's going to want more time. She's going to want to see you. She's going to be calling your phone. She's going to be texting your phone. Whereas if you just go to vacation and you cheat, it's like there's no exchanging of the numbers. There's none of that. Does that make sense? No.
Plausible deniability.
You're on mute, Marcus.
There's rules to this shit, so I wrote me a manual, a step-by-step booklet you need to get. 10 things to know before you go and hit a chick. Number 1. You don't know what I'm talking about? All right. I guess we're not real rap fans.
No, I'm sorry.
I was remixing 10 Crack Commandments I was remixing 10 Crack Commandments. You should know that. It's 10 things to know before. All right. Anyway.
I put it in the back chat. I'm gonna read it.
All right. So I think that depends on how long you've been in that game, right? So I think people who've been playing that game for a long time, extremely refined with it, and you understand, like, no pillow talking, no. Me and Miss Lego had a conversation about this, how you can end up in a accidental relationship because you steady sliding on something that's supposed to be a slide, but you talking to her, on the phone, you texting with her, you actually creating a bond outside of sex. And that's where the feelings get involved, and you put yourself in them things. But the people that like be cheating or just out here sliding, if they know what they're doing, they create a clear separation, so they don't be in a situation where it turned into a situationship. It's just, hey, we smashing. Whoa, bam, that's what it is. When you get a man, you can tell me about him, and then I can help navigate so you can make that situation work. All of that shit. Like, I think it's levels to that shit. That's like. Not to make it seem in a good way that people be cheaters, but
would you not agree that men usually go back, whether you do it right or not, they usually go back to the same person?
If you do it wrong, yeah.
Because
it is wrong.
If you're moving like you're just doing these one-night stands, there's no way for her to really figure that out, because there's no trace of it. There's no phone calls, there's no text. Because most of the time she finds out because you didn't clear your messages, or your pattern changes, because now you may be spending more time, you have less energy at home or with her, you're not able to balance it out a little bit. And so that's how women find out that you're cheating, strictly off of just your behavior changes a little bit. It could be the smallest little thing. You'd be like,
just a question I kind of want to pose to the entire panel. Is it that guys aren't really looking the way women kind of look for that kind of thing as to why the men get caught? Because do we really hunt for it, is what I'm asking.
I think that the women are just, okay, so women say, so women look for those things, right? So when they see a difference in the pattern, they look for those things. So I think that what happens is when a woman does it, she says, well, how did I catch him? I'm going to be smarter than that. I'll just clear my phone. I won't do the things that he's doing. It makes me recognize that he's cheating. So he'll never know that I'm cheating. And most men just don't even look that far into it. They're just like, she always had to go to the grocery store at 10 o'clock. Oh, I believe her.
Yeah, see that, but that's
eggs.
but that's the point I make. Like, are we as do men typically go looking for that stuff? Is what I'm asking, I guess.
So let me give you a slight answer to your question. AP is a little bit different than Chance, right? Most women are taught to study their man. So even if it's not in the phone and you're the type of guy who's really smart, who can clear that stuff, there are other behavioral things that change. So maybe you start hitting the gym when we've been together for 20 years and you've never gone to the gym one time. Maybe all of a sudden there's a new cologne and you've been wearing the same thing since high school. You know, maybe now you're in a habit of like buying yourself new underwear, whereas before I had to get it for you. Like, there's behavioral issues, no matter how smart you think you are, that shift. And because women are taught to study their man past the point of getting the relationship, they notice those differences. Whereas not all cases, but most men stop studying their woman once they've attained her.
It is so funny. Men sometimes will have a little pep in their step because, you know, sometimes a side chick can help the relationship. They come back happier. Like, what he's so happy for? All of a sudden, he whistling in the house and shit. Like, where that whistle come from? What you so happy about? Like, it's just little things that men do when they cheat that women are like, oh, and it's the intuition. A woman's intuition, y'all will never understand. You'd be like, okay, got it. That's how it works.
I think you're right about that. I remember when I was a cheater, like I did, it was a little ditty bop, an extra, you know, my walking in the house. Yeah, whatever. I was even more chill about the shit. But before, like, back to the segment yesterday about if you know better, you do better. When I didn't know no better, I viewed it like, if cheating is a game, I'm gonna blow your ass out. So even if you end up getting caught cheating, I'm gonna be like, well, I won this game. Because I, you know, like, hurt people do hurt shit, and somebody that ain't healed think about it that way. So I had to work on it. That's how I viewed that shit.
That's true. Did anybody else want to give, and then we can go into the next part? Did anybody else want to give their opinion on that? Because all these things, because you can always go back to this, because all of these kind of line up with each other, okay? So I'm going to show you the next video.
The secret we never wanted revealed as women is that as women, we have a switch, like a light switch with sex, and it is either off or it is on. And we all know we have this switch and that we have the capacity and the choice to turn it on and off when we want to. And as women, when we were single, we had the switch on for bad boys and we had the switch off for good men until we were ready to settle down and get married and start a family. And so good men can know, if you struggled to get women when you were younger and before you were married, or if you're watching and you're single, this will shed some light for you too. If you didn't have a lot of women until you met your wife, it's because she had her switched off. And then when she was ready to settle down, she turned it on, and she used the on switch with sex to trap you to get what she wanted, which was to get married. And so when we're ready to get married, our biological clock is ticking. We get a good man and we enjoy sex. We want to have plenty of sex. And then we get what we want. We get married and the sex stops.
Hey guys, it's
She ain't lying.
She definitely lying.
I be hearing.
Stop.
Well, this is the thing. So look. So let me first of all let me clarify. I think that Marcus you are in the position to have had women through the play phase. You understand what I'm saying? I'm talking about the man who did not get sex in the beginning, because she clearly said he was a good guy. She came for him after her phase, right? So this would not be like a situation that you would even know, because it's like, I don't have that problem. You know what I'm saying? And so the reason why I say this, I've heard, and this is not 100%. We know, like, even Mistaken, she loves her husband. She can, she's so attracted to her husband. But how many times do we hear over and over again, especially in these airways, that, you end up getting friend zone once you are married to somebody? That's one of the first things that goes, right? We've heard that over and over again. I think we've even spoken about it in the past. There are some people in sexless marriages.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on. As far as, I think she's correct to a degree, because like oftentimes a lot of women don't marry what they really want. They marry what they can get. And some of the guys that they actually get, they're good guys, but they might not be the person that they're super sexually attracted to in the natural sense.
Yeah.
Like it might be an intellectual sense, or it might be they take care of your needs and do this, that, and the third. But overall, like you said, Shan, like there's a whole bunch of people that have sexless marriages. Even Chris Rock had a joke when he was doing one of his stand-ups. I think it was Never Scared. It was like, the longer you are married, the more likely you're not going to have sex. You knew you had rice and beans on Wednesday, but you can't remember the last time you had sex. Because oftentimes, like what happens is that the reason why guys seem to have a pep in their step when they're cheating is because it's new, it's exciting, it's different. It's not the same thing that you had previously. When you've been married with somebody for so long, most people run into the habit of this is the same thing, so they don't change anything, and so it becomes mundane, becomes boring. And now I'm looking for excitement, which is why a lot of people decide to make an exit in some form of fashion out of the relationship.
I just got a question real quick for some clarity. Is that switch only ever down in marriage and always up otherwise?
You know what I think? So I really looked into this because, I have a little conversation with people on the outside, because I'm trying to like get marriage minded and all that kind of stuff. And I was so intrigued when this video came up. I think a little bit of what HD said. I think that a lot of women aren't necessarily marrying the man that they're attracted to in that way. They're marrying the good man. Your parents say that's a good man. He's gonna do the great thing. Just because you are marriage material as a good husband, then it's not necessarily mean you are sexually you're somebody who they're sexually attracted to. Okay, sometimes those two don't go hand in hand, and they do. That's the perfect guy. That's awesome. You found him. Boop. And so what happens is, I think a lot of people get in these marriages, a lot of women, they want to be married. They get into marriage. They find that great guy. He's awesome. He treats them well. And it's just a situation where they take him for granted a little bit, And I think there's a little bit of excitement. I think that women get excited about something that's different, just like men get excited. Just like men get excited, like, oh, that's new. I think that women, too, get excited when there's something new. Women like roller coasters just like men like roller coasters, some of them. So I think that that's what happens. And when they're young, it's like, oh, it's exciting. Like, I'm just going to live my life. It's so exciting. Think about it. A marriage, you see the same person every day. It's rules, it's restrictions. There are so many things that can be a little boring. If you guys aren't that exciting couple, that can get a little boring for either one, especially if he's like the homebody and she's like I want to get out, or vice versa. So I don't think that that's just about men. I think women too like excitement, and that's how they feel like they get their excitement. It's something exciting about, it's like living on the edge, so to speak.
So what I'm specifically asking is, so when a woman is single, is it less like a switch and more like a dimmer? And then when they're married, is it an actual switch where they turn it off and on? Because there's
I ain't never been. I'm confused too.
in my opinion, there are too many single parent moms for you to tell me that a woman have a sex switch. So turn that motherfucker off until you get married. If there's a switch, but it's not a switch, it's a dimmer. They brighten it when they really ready, and it just goes down just a little bit when they not really ready. But when they married, no, I don't want none tonight. Turn it off.
I think what she means by the switch is, oh, I don't like you, switch off, but I like him, switch on. I think that that's what she means by that. I think that they have the switch that turns on when they like somebody. They just go for different things. So when you're younger and you're mature, you're just strictly going off of the looks. You're like, oh, he's so fine, like, ooh, you know, whatever. Or maybe nowadays it's about money, whatever rocks your boat, right? But when you get a little more mature, you start thinking, well, will he be a good father? Is he going to be the great leader of the household? You know, all those other things come into play. And so they used to have the switch off for those people because he's not the exciting guy. But now they got to get married. So they got to turn the switch on for him. But unfortunately, when he marries them, that switch kind of...
She need a new electrician.
Do y'all think that the way they make that correlation between the men who get sex being good men or bad men and the men who don't get, so the way they frame it is good men can't get sex.
And that's not true. Let's just say it like this. I hate when they do that too. It has nothing to do about being good. I think it has everything to do about being attractive. It's not good. Attractive men get sex because attraction is what leads to sexual. When you see a person, you're attracted to them, which leads to a sexual activity. Unattractive people don't get sex. Now, there are things that can make you attractive for marriage. Like she may say, you know what, he ain't that good looking, but he's a great guy. Like he's nice to me. He treats me well. He has these leadership qualities. That don't mean necessarily I want to sex with him. It just means that he's a great leader and he could be the great CEO of the household. I trust him as a person to lead my household, right? But the guy who is attractive is the guy who's probably showing up on the first date and going home with a chick. You know what I'm saying? The guy who gets women, he ain't even going after women, they're coming after him, you know, for whatever reason. Those are two different guys. And I wouldn't take good out of it because both of them can be good guys. There are a lot of attractive good men, you know? But I think that when we say good, I think they really be talking about attractive.
So do you think it would be more beneficial for them to remove that language and figure out ways to make themselves more attractive?
You said what now? I'm sorry.
So ways to make yourself more attractive, like maybe hitting the gym more, becoming more articulate. Yeah.
Get a little swag. Like people be mad with a little. People be amazed at what a little swagger do. Like a man, he ain't that cute. What is it? Enos call a medium with a nice suit on, or he got a tailored baby. That medium ugly started to look a little less rare ugly. So
heard that a lot.
You call that man rare ugly? That's
I
cool.
don't know. She said medium like it's a state, so I thought rare. You don't want to be hard ugly, like rare ugly.
She's talking about them like they're steaks. So I think what Shan was saying is one aspect of it. I think the other aspect is that the quote unquote bad guy tends to be way less judgmental, right? If that girl wants to be wild, wants to do crazy things, he's going to hold back judgment to allow himself to experience that part of her. Whereas the men who are typically more marriage material tend to be scrutinized a little bit more. And so women feel the need to be more reserved. And so a lot of women feel like, I do these things with you because then you're not going to see me as marriage material where I see you as marriage material. They want reciprocity. I think that's part of it. But I think the other part of like the sexist marriages is that from hearing a lot of like sex therapists talk about it, it's more the fact that when people get into a rut, they don't know how to get out of it. And it's not more so that women are turning off the switch, is that both parties are not doing the things that allowed both people to get excited in the first place. It's the man not pursuing anymore or the woman not keeping herself up. Like, it's a two-party situation. That lady in the video made it sound like women just turn it off and that's it. It's dead. Like, no, there's two people in that marriage. There's two people who've made it hard to have sex with each other.
Let me say, my apologies, Marcus. I'll be having to mute you because it's got an echo in the background. I apologize. Because,
It's echoing from me.
I let people know when I meet them. You know what? And this is another thing. And ladies, please do not get mad at me for saying this. What happens is, what I'm starting to think happens is women choose a man who is on their level, right? He is the true person who she can be with. But because she's used to sexing guys who are not necessarily on her level, because he goes down on sex because it's like, okay, she's giving it to me, right? So now she thinks she's on that. She's used to this guy, right? That who was never on her attraction level. Am I making sense right now? And so
I understand you. I switched my microphone. It was going to my camera. Is the echo going now?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool.
That's just mad loud though.
So I'm trying to explain this as best as I possibly can. Okay.
What about now?
Yes, it's perfect.
Oh, that's great. That's perfect.
Okay.
So what happens is men who look a certain way, who are attractive, right? They don't mind going down in looks when they're just banging a chick, right? So from that woman's standpoint, she's like, oh, she's having sex with these guys who are like these nice looking, attractive guys, right? So then she gets with a guy who's really on her level. And I think that maybe she's not appreciating him that much when that is really where you are, where you are. Does that make sense?
It make perfect sense. I was making a correlation the other day.
She's not attracted to him because she thinks she's attracted to this guy, but she doesn't even understand that this guy doesn't even want her for that. He was just using you.
So it make perfect sense. We had this conversation the other day about somebody being in love with their trick. Do you think it's possible so the first question would be, do you think it's possible for somebody to be in love with their trick? And the second one is, can a man operate if you
their trick?
Yeah.
Oh.
So a man that buys you a whole lot of gifts and gives you all this money, can you love him for doing that? And do you think that it's possible to gain sexual attraction based off of that? I have my opinion on it, but I'm curious on what you think.
I think that I kind of what Inaz was saying just a little different earlier. I think women can fall in. So the great thing about the woman is she has a heart, right? We're emotional creatures, and people can do things to make you fall for them. And when you're in love with somebody, that if you get a heart, then the mind will follow. If you got a heart, you got a mind, right? So when you do little things like cater to her, you buy her these little things, she can fall in love with that. Like, oh, I love the way he treats me, which means she can fall in love with you. And now you have a heart in her mind, her head. But the thing about it is she has to fall for you. If so, it's possible. Yes. Sorry.
So when she does that, let's say you no longer have the ability to provide those gifts. Does she still, do the feelings maintain, or do the feelings disappear with the gifts?
Well, it depends on it. So it depends on the woman. So some women like they like the fact that he's willing to take care of it. It's not necessarily, it was never the gifts in the first place. It was just he was attentive. I like the way he treats me, and just so happened there were gifts that were attached to that, right? But then you have women who are just in love with gifts, and that woman, when the gifts go, she's gone. But there's some women who's like, oh, I love the way he treats me, and they'll always remember, the kind of guy he was, as long as he's keeping that up. Maybe he can afford the gifts, but he's keeping up the there for you, and that part of it. Does that make sense?
Personal opinion is that she'll eventually leave that guy all the time. So I guess I turn into a pessimist.
Well, she'll leave the guy if she only wanted the gifts. But I'm
saying both. I'm saying both.
Both. So that it depends on the woman. Because I can see it both ways. I can see the woman who just wanted the gift. She's like, oh, he went about me. But then I see a woman who says, oh, he bought me these things. He is so nice. He spends time with me. And it's not about the gifts. It's about just how he's treating her. And he's falling in love with the way he treats her. It has nothing to do with the gifts. It's just how he treats her.
I'm about to get blasted for this, but the way you got her is the way you keep her. The way you got her is the way she stays. If you got her with half effort, then half effort will keep her. If you got her with gifts, then lack of gifts will lose her. It's really that simple.
So I don't think it's always that simple, because I don't think people are that simple. This is just my personal opinion. But Shan, to what you were saying, so there's the women who are in it for the gifts, and like you said, there's the women who feel loved by the gifts, right? It's an expression of love. The issue with those women is that when the gifts stop, it's not about the gifts stopping, it's that they start to feel like maybe that man doesn't love them anymore, or that he doesn't care about it, because now what was consistent has now changed, right? And we know how women are about men's consistency. So the reason behind it may not be the same, or the sentiment behind it may not be the same. But I agree with Marcus. I think most women will leave. I think the women that'll stay is like a really minute amount of women for different reasons. One, because the well dried up, and the other because they feel like the love dried up.
I hear the you was gonna say something?
No, I wanted to answer this question, because we kind of answered it last time we were here, but I kind of want to answer this question. We're just going to go into our last question. But go ahead, Marky Mark. But I can just go ahead.
Say, because I hear men talk a whole lot about women leaving, and I don't think women leave like that. But I think in that scenario, women leave to the way men describe it. So I think it's more so about the way you're obtaining people if it's based off strictly something superficial and you could not figure out how to create a connection outside of that, or you incentivized it in some way where it was just you had leverage over that person. It's kind of like I don't want to call it's manipulation, because I wouldn't say that's negative or positive. That would probably be neutral manipulation, because both people are receiving something they want in that paradigm. But in those situations where it's not beneficial, eventually she will leave. So if it's only so, like, if you buy somebody a Benz every single day, it no longer will feel like you bought them a Benz after day 200. It's like, all right, I'm sick of Benzes. It's just, I can't drive all of them. Or if you do the same thing monetarily, because the material things, they kind of run their course. Like, I know we've all gotten something, we was excited to get it, and then the day after we have it, it don't feel the same. Or if you have the ability to buy it in every single color, it's like, okay, yeah, it don't hit the same way as when you didn't have it. So I think a lot of that runs in when you run you get what I'm saying?
A man that buys you stuff?
So if you got with him just so he could buy you stuff, right?
Oh yeah. If you got with him just because, okay, I got you. So
and then after he buy you enough of the stuff, it don't hit the same. Like, you could probably remember your first bag or first pair of shoes or first thing that was like, a real luxury item to you. But after it became common to you, the thrill and the dopamine rush and that feeling is gone. And no, you don't feel that way? I don't know. I've never. So no. Okay. Well, keep buying the bags then. Y'all winning.
I don't take bags from people I don't like, though. So I may be a poor person to ask. Did you want to hit on that, Enos, or no? Because I wanted to address. Okay, so this is, and I talked about this before. So I have been observing people, and this is the thing. Women who are attractive will find there's one person that she can marry. Whether it be, it's always a guy willing to marry an attractive woman just because. Okay. The problem with attractive women is they have you. Okay, so let's just take a woman, for example, a nice looking woman on Instagram, right? Whatever her options are, you have to be better than those options. Meaning, we don't know what those options are doing for her. So you have to be worth her giving up all those options and whatever it is that they're doing for her to marry you. So it's kind of like it's a risk. She's a risk taker. She's like, you know what? He's not worth me giving up this single life that I'm getting all this attention, all these things that are going on for me to marry him. Now, when we're talking about the person that she can marry, obviously it wouldn't be somebody she wants to marry. Now, the guy of her dreams comes up and wants to marry her, she'll probably marry him, right? But that's usually not the case. It's usually just guys, coming along. She's probably swiping left a whole lot. Does that make sense? So attractive woman can get married to somebody. She just doesn't like who that somebody is. And that's the reason why she's single. She's going to press her luck.
Do you think? Yeah. Do you think women should like normalize changing their standards the longer that they're single?
I think that you shouldn't have unrealistic standards first and foremost, but I also believe that you can't help who you want to be around. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're going to get in that situation where you're in a sexist relationship. You'll be mistreated because she's waking up to you and she really don't want to. Imagine waking up to somebody you don't want to wake up to every morning. When you're going home and you're like, this nigga at home, I don't like me. You don't want that either. Trust me, if she does not want you and she turned whatever, she's doing you a favor. The worst thing you do is be with a woman who does not want to be with you. That's the worst thing you can do to yourself. You deserve more than that. Don't do that to yourself. That's just my opinion.
What if you're in a position where you don't feel like you can get anybody, so you take whatever you get? What would you advise them to do?
What, you talking about women?
A man.
Oh. So you're saying, what if he can't get anybody? What do you advise him to do?
Mm-hmm.
Listen here, I ain't God. I don't know.
No, I'm saying like
what he can do.
If he can't get anybody and the women he can get don't really want him, but he with her, even though she don't want him, what would you say he should do?
Think highly, think better, think he deserved better than that. If she's just going with the flow and she friend zone him, but she's there for him, okay. But if she's starting to mistreat him, he knows she's cheating on him, and there's like he's being neglected in the situation. No, that's your life. You can't live like that. That's not fair to you. So you shouldn't do that to yourself. You should not want to mate more than you love. You shouldn't love somebody more than you love yourself. Basically, you should never change yourself.
Wait, what? Repeat that statement again.
You should not love a mate more than you love yourself. You should never shortchange yourself. That's crazy to me. So what he could do is maybe talk to somebody, get like an image consultant. Isn't that what Kevin Samuels used to do? Like he was like an image consultant or something. Like get one of those image consultants, talk to them, have him like look at his life, see where he can change some things around. People don't want to do that though. Change some things around to be better. Just like we talk about women. Oh, you better cook. Just like you dissect, you just said like women, these are the things you need to get a man. There are things that men can do to get a woman. And they need to look at those things and see where they're lacking to put them, higher on the marketplace to be more attractive to women. And vice versa.
So just a real quick point I want to make. There is a healthy self-love, and I think that's where it needs to remain. Because if you love yourself more than your mate, and I'm gonna tell you as a man, I would never, ever, ever put my life at risk to save hers. If I love me more than I love my mate, and somebody broke in the house, I'm out of the side window, and if she don't jump out, that ain't on me. I'm not gonna go out of my way to protect someone else if I have that unhealthy I love me more than you. It is necessary to have a healthy level of self-love, because I believe that each healthy adult will have that. But to simply, in my opinion, blindly say love yourself more than your mate, I think is the wrong way to go about it, because then I'm going to get my plate second or third or fourth, or I might have to make it myself, or I might have to start scheduling my own stuff because you weren't in the mood and your self-care and love came before me, and me protecting myself came before the protection for you. So I think we got to, when we make statements like that, I think we miss the mark. And I just wanted to add that a little bit. I'm sorry.
I concur.
Imagine how many men have we seen that the woman is getting catered to. Like he is like getting over backwards for her.
Yeah, I think this is a very interesting topic because in one realm, I understand what you're saying, AP. In the other realm, there is a way that people will protect people they don't even love. They don't even know this person, and they will go out of their life, out of their way to go and protect people. So I think that to go to back to what Shan is talking about, I think that whether you're an attractive or unattractive person, my baseline is work with a person who's willing to work with you. You know, is this person willing to make your life a little bit easier? Vice versa. Are you willing to make this person's life a little bit easier? What are the things that they want to do? Are you willing to be an aid to that? You know, are you respectable to each other? Or do you actually listen to this person? Do you care about this person's well-being? Vice versa. Do you get that same stuff? So, I mean, the reality is that you don't really know what a relationship's going to be like until you get into it, because it may start out well and things might be going in the right direction, but then tragedy strikes and now you don't feel like the same person because of the pain that you're feeling, or you don't have good conflict resolution skills, or you just feel entitled. It's like there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but I think you have some validity to what you're saying, AP, in regards to, you know, you have to have some level of love, you know, a strong level of love for yourself and a strong level of love for that person. But you just need to understand like what's important, you know, as much as you love yourself, this person is also important. And, you know, if this person worth giving your life for, if they're not worth giving your life for, I mean, why you want to be responsible for them?
Why would you marry him?
I agree. Why would you? But I mean, a lot of people marry because, you know, we got scripture that says it's better to marry than to burn.
Yeah.
Right. And then you also got the reality is that people don't know how long it's going to be before they get somebody else. And they take a chance on something that might not make the best sense long term, but they're hoping that whatever they did agree to, that it won't be the worst case scenario. So it's like, you know, people be taking risks, and the risks be paying off sometimes, and sometimes it don't.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I found real interesting? Like, all right, so I know a lot of especially in the Black community, Christianity is the base for the way we think about things.
Mm-hmm.
So like Ephesians 25, it say, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. When we make the comparison that we are willing to lay our life down, that is directly correlated to that statement. And that would mean he loved us so much that he gave himself up for us. Or like, so I don't see how, because yesterday we was talking about this. I don't know why I didn't bring it up, but how could anybody argue against that statement though?
I mean, listen, this is why the conversation that we had last week, why I was bringing it up the way that I was bringing it up, because like whether you're Muslim, whether you're Buddhist, whether you're Christian, like marriage in essence doesn't have much backing devoid of religious significance. Like you can't define it, you can't ground it. There's not much to it if it isn't grounded in something that's bigger than you. Like it just doesn't work. So even as you're bringing up Ephesians 5, many times in these streets or the internet, you hear about how the woman needs to be submissive, right? They need to submit to their husband. But in that same chapter, it says, husbands, submit to your own wives, right? So there's a lot of things in scripture that, you know, people, if we were to follow those, some people that are in successful relationships would be like, nah, that's not how that works, right? Because in reality, what God considers as what a man and a woman should do for marriage is different sometimes than people feel like from their experience or the reality of their relationships.
I think it said for the husband to submit. Tell me what we're not gonna go into it.
It's in the same chapter, Ephesians 5. It's literally in the exact same chapter. Pull it up. Pull up in Ephesians 5, and it talks about husbands submit to your wife. And it also talks about the women submit to their own husbands. I'm telling you, it's in there. And as you read that other part of the scripture where it says that the man is basically the sacrifice, right? It gives the order of hierarchy in the relationship as well. You know what I'm saying? So there's so much in scriptures, in religious studies, that dictates how people should operate in your relationship with the opposite sex.
I agree with that. I think across. So, what do you know the offhand the comparison in the Quran?
Oh, real fast. He's talking about 21. It's chapter 5, 21 to 33. It says, I put it in there. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. Quran.
Yeah, the reason I was asking, because I mean, I think they all give a understanding. I'm trying to see, is it similar across the board?
That's not accurate, HD.
It says submit to one another.
Reading through the
it's verse 21.
I know, and reading through Ephesians 5, according to the King James Version, wives, submit yourselves to your husbands as you do the Lord. In 23, submit to one another out of reverence for Christ is verse 21. Husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and he gave himself up for her. It's actually not even suggesting that men submit to their wives. More or less, men submit to Christ.
So it says, it does.
So if we're gonna be clear on this,
it says submit to one another. I when I hear that, I do think that one another, meaning me, you, me.
I see how you read, but
that's exactly how that means.
We just read the Bible the way it's written.
I mean,
blasphemy.
Oh, now they get this.
No blasphemy.
Oh my God.
Okay,
I'm in the Quran.
You can't Bible study, so I'm gonna stay away from it. But
Quran it. Quran it.
I'm looking for it now. Do you have it offhand? You know.
Sorry.
You have it offhand?
No, I don't have it offhand, but they do talk about how the men are given responsibility over their wives. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, they have a duty to protect and provide. And that's laid out very clearly. So the hierarchy is God, husband, wife, children. To the point where like marriage itself is considered like half of the religion. So half of the religion is spent talking about the dynamics in which you navigate marriage and how that's supposed to be structured and how to pick a partner and all of that stuff. But it is God, husband, wife, children.
The woman should not deny her husband sexual pleasure for no genuine reason. She should not disobey him in any way except that which runs against the will of Allah. She should protect herself from any illicit act as well as protect her husband's property and home.
For sure. Let me just say this. This is the issue I have, right? So what people will try to do is we know that you're Muslim, Enos, and we know that you're Muslim, Marcus, and you don't deny that. You are all in, right? It's the people who find the good in both, and they'll try to take this from this one and take this from this one just to fit their they don't want to just follow one. They're like, okay, I like what this is saying. So let me say, yep, that's what the Quran say. Okay, no, that's what the Bible say. So whatever fits them. So that's where the problem comes. But one thing about the Quran, one thing about Muslim, it's very strict. It says what it is, and you stick to it, right? It ain't no wishy-washy. You are, if you're Muslim, this is what we got going on. You follow it, or you can go somewhere else, right? And it clearly says your husband. It don't say your boyfriend, your situationship, your homeboy, your friends with your benefits. It don't say the homeboy down the street. It says your husband. Not your future husband who's thinking about you right now. He not quite sure if you the one yet. He need 5 more years to decide that. Not that guy. Your husband.
I mean, it does talk about concubines, but whatever.
What does it say about what does it say about that?
I don't have all the scholarly information in front of me. I'll get back to you on that.
But one thing about it is, I do know that whatever it is, the men have a great responsibility in that religion. They do not drop the ball. So, go ahead, Enos.
Sorry, I just saw a comment in the chat. Muslim men are not actually allowed to beat their wives. The translation of the word, people have oversimplified it to beat. Muslim men are not allowed to beat their wives. Just to be super clear.
And one thing about when we be talking about the submission comment or the whole conversation, a crossface and just in relationships in general, I think people a lot of times their understanding is from such a traumatized place when they think about like, so because I want to add this. So when we saying love your wife or your husband more than you love yourself, that's for people who are working together in good. If you in an abusive relationship, you definitely need to love yourself more because you'll end up dead. Like if it's a person that, so I want to add clarity to that. I'm not saying to stay getting beat and do none of that type of stuff. I'm saying when people are operating in positivity, love, and peace and happiness and all that, it's mutual and it's reciprocal. That's what I was trying to say. Like when we were
talking about earlier when she didn't like him and she's mistreating him because he's with a woman who doesn't want to be there. That is not what we're suggesting at all. Don't even put yourself in that situation, okay? You don't need her that bad.
I be coming from a good faith place, thinking that everybody is going to operate, and I got to remove that and come to reality for the majority of.
You know something, Marcus?
Please do, sir. Please do.
Marcus, you, Trev, and oh man, I forgot the guy's name that did Wednesday nights. Y'all need to start a swag school. I really think y'all can make some money off of that. And some cats could actually learn swag and learn how to actually have interactions with women, positive interactions with women, and cut out all of the foolishness, bro. I'm just saying, y'all can make some money on that.
I would definitely teach it, but you know what they say? They start calling it sim school, and they are 100%. Because if you're not angry and cantankerous and contentious, they like, oh, you just try to side with women.
Yeah. How can a school for men be a simp school? You like that's crazy to me. That's nuts. And look, these dudes that be in some of these spaces, I literally take this shit with a grain of salt. Be some of the angriest men at women for their own trauma, their own hurt. They need to get that self-love we were talking about earlier, get a healthy dose of it, and stop dealing with trifling ass women. And once you stop dealing with trifling ass women, I assure you, your opinion overall of women will change. Thus, your outcome will change.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is men need to figure out something that's great about themselves and work on that so they can really embrace themselves as a valuable person in this world. Because a lot of times we project our anger when we have anger with ourselves or our situation onto everybody else. If you're in a good space, you typically try and look at other people and find good or positive qualities about them and not see something as bad as it could be seen. And when you do that, it kind of comes off like, we can see it. Everybody can see it. You might not realize we can see it, but we can see it. And I wish y'all the best. I wish people who operating at the best. Like I
believe.
genuinely do.
Oh, let me stop. So I'm sorry. I believe the people who mad be the people who be in your inbox like, hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and they just you don't ever respond, so they get mad. Like
It is them dudes. It's the same exact dudes. And y'all should call this school MTT or TMT. Trill Marcus Trev. I'm telling you, School of Swag.
I'll do that if they want to get into it.
I'm telling you, I think y'all could make some real money on that, and some men could really benefit from it. But these dudes rather run around mad.
And this is what I want men to do. This is really, really what I want men to do. I really want men to stop validating these women who are, illustrating poor behavior, right? Because I was watching, and I wish I would have had a clip, but JR told me I had a cap on how many clips I can send him. He tired of me, and so I couldn't send him the clip, y'all. My bad. So there was I watched this show called Hardly Initiated, and I think it came on maybe 2 or 3 nights ago. It's not the Dr. Umar, it was another one, but there was a part in there, and it stated that women do things to get so for example, if I see that this person is getting this attention, right, and I want that attention, it'll kind of persuade me to do what she's doing because I want to be a part of that crowd, right? So what you're doing is you are giving these women this attention, and these other women want that same attention, so they're doing things they may not have done had we not made this popular. Does that make sense? So I just really wish, and I know it's going to be hard. It's probably never going to happen. Like, why do you have to like the video? Like, just move your hand and just scroll. Even if you're looking, stop pressing the like button. Like, don't just take your finger. You know how stingy y'all are with the like button on these shows?
Like button.
That stingy when it comes to liking them posts. Go ahead, Inaz.
So I think you're right. I think we're a very long ways away from men doing that as a collective. But what I think is more possible is teaching the women the difference between sexual attention and relationship attention.
But Inaz, this is the problem with that. Some people just want attention. Like they just want so they know it's sexual attention. Some of them do know that. But they just want that attention so bad. We've seen it, even I'm sure you've seen it. The girl who was like the floozy in school didn't have the attention, so she felt like she had to be the floozy to get the attention, right?
Yeah.
So it's like they crave that like, look at me, I want to be a part of the end, so bad. And it has nothing to do with relationships. It's just the part of just wanting to be wanted, wanting to be seen, wanting to be adored, wanting to be desired, so to speak.
So do you think that those women are now the majority of women, or do you think the women who can't tell the difference between sexual attention and relationship attention are the majority?
No, yeah, they're the majority.
And so, like, those women will always be those women, regardless of the platform, the interaction, whatever. Those women have self-esteem issues, self-value issues. That goes so far past just wanting attention, right? Mm-hmm. But when we're talking about the fact that men are unlikely to be stingy with their interactions with those type of women, like women who put themselves out there like that, I think if we equip women with more tools to understand, like, hey, you might get all these likes, you might get all these comments, you might get all these DMs, but you're never going to get the relationship that you want doing this. Here's how to garner relationship attention. I think women would start to shift.
So do you think Fresh and Fit is good for what they're doing? Because aren't they trying to do that?
They're shaping women into it. They're not educating women. Like
they're like Howard Stern. They just took Howard Stern and put it in a different kind of play. That's all it is like the Howard Stern show.
Oh, yeah, I agree, because that's not a show that I whatever. But what I'm saying is their initial thing is trying to get them to understand the difference. They do it in a sensationalist Howard Stern type of way. But the baseline of that is the shaming of that is them having that conversation just in the totally wrong way to have that conversation, but they having a conversation.
But let's just be honest. When you carry yourself that way, that's how people look at you and that's how people talk to you. That's why I don't even understand why that's even, let's just be honest. People have always shamed and talked down on people who act like that. They have. And now that we see it, we're like, oh, that's so mean. You hurt me. But that's just, it's always been that way. People have always shamed, but now we out here saving them. I don't know.
I never saved them, but I definitely ain't shame them. I wasn't judging. Right.
You should definitely not try to hurt somebody. You should definitely try to educate somebody. Like, listen, you should change the way you're doing things, because the way you're doing it, because maybe they weren't taught the right way to do it. The way you're doing it is coming off a little,
Seeing them having a conversation, or the women that are using illicit means to get attention. Like, which one are you saying?
What do you mean illicit means to get attention?
So, like, you were saying you threw your error in there when you said floozy. I haven't heard that word in a long time.
We call them
Well, you said that they being floozy so that they could get attention from men. Were you talking about them, or were you talking about like the sensational content creation where they just like SBE, the shame, blame, explain? Because I guess that's what that would be, right? Minus the shame, blame, explain. Well, I guess we can just go straight to explain. But so it's a belief that if you don't shock somebody into changing, this is some of the content creators' philosophy, that you need to shock people into changing, and then you can get them the explanation when they see how the error of their ways in real time. What do y'all think about that? Do you think that works?
I think that there's a way to so I think that they are the way they're treating people is a little nasty, right? Mm-hmm. But if we must be real, if we take away this time that we're in now, that's how people looked at that. It probably didn't come out the way we're able to video it and see how it's coming out, but that's how people talk about people who behave that way. It just wasn't videotaped, and we weren't talking about it constantly over and over again, and you didn't see them like, and you're like, oh, that kind of looked bad once it's kind of when you videotape something, it didn't look so bad, you didn't think it was that bad, but then you go back and look and you're like, oh, that was pretty bad, but people have been doing that for years. They've always shamed, probably even more so back in the day because it was really looked down upon. And so now, because it's kind of like liberate yourself, you should be able to, sex who you want whenever you want, and you can walk around with your nipples out. It's okay. It's your nipple. We deserve to all see it. It's just so now we're just living a different time where everybody's living liberated. And so now it's like, you don't talk about
liberate the nipples. What?
What a tangent.
No, you was about to say
yeah. So here's the thing, right? Is like there are so many of those content creators out here pointing fingers and calling out names and doing the sensational stuff, right? And they've been at it for a little while now. Have we seen any progress? Have we seen the numbers dwindle? Have we seen these women start to cover themselves up?
And they keep on the show.
Right. So it's not actually working, right? And so I hear people all the time say, bring shame back, bring shame back. Your tactics of shaming people, it's not deterring anybody. It's just not working. So you can continue to do it. There isn't actually a solution in it. And I think that's why people are starting to have that conversation of like, maybe there's another way to do this. Maybe shaming isn't the way to do it. Maybe it's more so education or, giving people other opportunities to see things differently. Because like, it's not working.
Let me
play time.
And this is the thing. It's almost like the music industry right now, right? People, as long as there's money attached to it, people will continue to go for bad. It has been rewarded. Every time you like that video, she's getting sponsors. She's getting something out of the deal. It's almost like another form of porn, whatever, Playboy magazine, whatever you want to call it. So it's just not gonna go. And the thing about it is, this is the thing. Men get, and I told y'all this over and over again, men get so mad when they see women who are halfway naked on the internet. And I would say to you, be happy it's in front of you, because now you know if you choose her, what you're getting. She is putting it out there. Stop trying to change her. You can't change that woman. You can't. If she has it in her to even do that, it was already in her. Because some of us, no matter how much money, you don't think that millions of dollars look good. You know, I'm like, you know, OnlyFans, but I'm never gonna do that because inside me, that's just not. I don't eat. No.
Yeah, I don't agree that shame isn't working, because the
I don't
thing
either.
is,
Go ahead.
even though you may not see the initial results right now, but let's get fresh and fit and a more wider view, right?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why most in times they put these women on the show is for monetary, for sure. There's a great benefit to financial benefit from them having these girls on the show.
Correct.
But also, the thing is what you see them. Another reason why they bring these women on the show is because, like we had a previous conversation, a lot of women listen to Beyonce, whether they're educated or not. A lot of women exit these bikini outfits, or they go to the gym with these outfits, right? A lot of the mindsets and the behaviors are the same across majority levels of the women. So when they have the conversation with these women and they have literally a degree, they got master's degree, PhDs, they lawyers, doctors, nurses, whatever. And they're having conversations with these women and breaking down the actual reasoning and logic that they're actually trying to present to people. And they're like, when these guys are having these debates with these women, they're like, let's think about the logic that these women are sharing right now and how this don't make no sense. But yet to them, it makes sense. And they have no reason to think outside of it because nobody actually challenged the thought. So granted, you can say what you want about the Fresh and Fit boys and whatnot, but the reality is they're having conversations that other men never thought to have, or didn't really see the reason to have, with women that look like the women that they want to talk to, in the hopes that maybe they'll save one, and they would actually begin to actually have a real conversation with these women and challenge the logic. But the thing is whether you teach hundreds of thousands of people the right way to go, your job is to plant the seed. And what the people do with that seed is up to them. So I listen to the thought processes. I listen to the arguments. That's what I'd be looking into. Like, I don't think that you should be literally just piling on women just because they make dumb decisions like men make dumb decisions. However, I don't think it's against the law for you to tell somebody that was a stupid decision and that make no sense.
You know, it's so funny. I watched the Jessica, what's her name? The girl, no, the Sexy Red in Jessica. I guess it was on the Breakfast Club. And I saw that it was an interview where Sexy Red was mad at her for making a comment. In her name, Jessica, what's the comedian name? She used to be on Instagram. Did y'all see that? Well, anyway, I guess she had made comments speaking against some of the things that the way Sexy Red behaves. And Sexy Red felt like, listen, I'll mess with you because I don't like how you said what you said. So she was coming at her like, I don't have anything against you, but there's some things that you do basically that I just don't agree with. It's not because I have anything against you, but it's just, you know. And so when I heard Sexy Red, so when I looked at her, this is just me, the way I looked at her, I don't think some people see anything wrong. And it may be the way they were raised with what they do. In her mind, she is genuinely not doing anything wrong. You know, she hasn't been exposed to, you know, the way maybe Inaz was raised or the way I was raised. So in their mind, this is normal. I'm not understanding where you're coming from. Why do you have a problem with me? Like, she really wasn't, I don't think she was able to see that that's a little distasteful. Like, I don't think she was. And so in that sense, I do think that teaching people like, hey, come on over here. let me teach you another way to do this. Okay. I think that is important because some people just don't know.
And 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 I do agree with HD on this. The shaming has worked, and one of the things that we're seeing, aside from like Fresh and Fit and the Whatever podcast, some of the things we're seeing now that we didn't used to see is women speaking up and talking about the piss in the pool from other women. And it kind of goes to what Shan's point, what she was saying about Jess Hilarious, when she commented about Sexy Red. Look, I ain't got nothing against you, but like, you part of that piss in this pool. And what happens is we as men, we're seeing a lot of this piss in the pool, and yes, we're casting this broad brush stroke of it being all women. So the women that are actually out here trying to find a husband or trying to move right and find a good man are saying, "Hey, ladies, y'all are effing it up for us," because that's what the men are talking about. We're hearing the men say this. So now that we have women speaking up, the shaming did work, and women were hearing it. Now, what I do think needs to happen is let women continue to make that push as we men start to push and advocate for better men. So if we are pushing for men to be better and the women start to speak up more about women being better, we can't save everybody, but you can really start this shift, and we can have more marriage-minded people making smarter decisions with their lives. I just wanted to go ahead and say that.
So I have a hard time accepting that premise, right? Because the women who came up and started speaking up against women like Sexy Red, they didn't come speaking up because shaming was working. And it's not, I don't see it as an indication that shaming is working. It's more so a point of frustration that their perspective is not being represented. And you have a population of men who don't have access to those women or don't have the ability to see those women, where now it's a forceful presentation of another side of women, another group of women, so that you're not stuck in this like microcosm where only those women exist, right? And if we're honest, that's what started the red pill space in the first place, right? The majority of people who had microphones were men who didn't have red pill rhetoric or red pill thoughts. And those men got frustrated that they didn't see themselves represented in conversations. And so they created a space for themselves to be heard, right? That's not a reaction to shaming. It's a reaction to a lack of representation, right? In terms of shaming, I haven't seen the numbers go down of women who are on Instagram with their butt out. I haven't seen a decline in numbers of women joining OnlyFans. In fact, if anything, it's increased, right? And to Fresh and Fit's podcast, they specifically went on sugar baby sites and picked those women up off of there. Those are the women who aren't planning on changing. You're not going to change their mind. They're not picking the women who are just making bad decisions. They're picking the women who are intentionally, knowingly making these decisions. They're not interested in marriage anytime soon. They're not interested in a family anytime soon. They want to show all sets of lips for $4.99, and they are okay with that.
Lips.
They get on there to get their following up, to share their Instagram, so now you can follow them.
I think it's $44, but
you say what? Well, you know what?
no, it's an inside joke.
You guys brought up a good point. I do agree that I think a lot of women are speaking up, not necessarily because we're trying to change who these people are, because they've always existed, right? I think that the problem is they're not a good representation. We put them in these places where they're representing us. Like that's all we see. And we're like, no. That is not the majority. Bring them back down. And that's the problem. You know, you're not going to speak like all Black women are this way. You're not the representative of who we are, but that's what they continuously push as if that's the majority, and it's absolutely not. But go ahead, Marky Mark.
This has absolutely nothing to do with anything that we was talking about outside of our statement about the lips. Did you ever notice that you have cheeks and lips on your face, and then they call them cheeks and then lips down there too? That just clicked in my head.
You know,
I don't know. I might be slow.
So this is nasty. Let me turn my camera off. But did you know that the mouth in that part of the body, they're very similar? Even how they do things, like if you ask a doctor, they're very similar. That's why. Never mind. I don't even want to get into the health class. Let me just stop.
So, am I slow, or did y'all realize that before now, or did that kind of click for y'all too, like lips and cheeks?
No,
like lips and cheeks and lips and cheeks. Okay.
I know that
I've never thought about it.
We've had these conversations before. Not necessarily that they're lips and cheeks, but I do that they think they're similar in a lot of ways.
But some folks do talk out of the side of their ass, though.
Maybe talking shit, yeah.
Yeah. Listen, do cheeks. Listen, to some people, those are cheeks too.
That's the joke. That's the.
But you said lips. No. Okay, so listen.
Look, you got lips on your face and lips.
So listen, your butt is the cheeks, right? That's what you're saying. But I would hope that that's not what you're comparing. Like, I was looking at the lips as being.
No. I was saying the lips is the opening to your vagina, and then the cheeks is the butt.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah. You just got the joke slow. I think you just got the joke slow.
Maybe I'm not. I don't mean. Listen, I'm horrible at getting my
thoughts out. Right. Yeah, you gotta get the cobwebs off your lips so you can speak fast.
Yeah. I think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah, I want to go back to what Enon said. So I understand that the initial reason why the other women are speaking up, and you're saying that the reason why they're speaking up is not for shaming purposes, it's for representation purpose. Here's the problem that I have.
I think it's a little bit of both.
Well, but here's the problem that I have. Most of the time, the reason why women respond the way that they do and do all the following that they do is because a lot of women co-sign it. They literally would be like, oh, you go, girl. You know what? Do you? Or we collectively have the thought of, well, I'm not going to say it's wrong, but I'm not going to do it. Right. And then everybody's like, well, if it's not wrong, then everybody can do it. So then you let all of these people fool you to thinking that majority of these women are on OnlyFans. Majority of these women are doing this and doing that and this. Like, the reality is like, yo, you're not going to save them all. All you can do is put it out there, say your piece, and the people that actually think and listen and can actually comprehend somewhere down the line, those are the people that's going to get it. You're not going to save majority of the world. This is an unfortunate fact. You're just not. But that don't mean that you don't step up and say, hey, this is a problem. This is an issue. It's like, that don't make no sense.
So I'm not saying that people shouldn't vocalize their opinion. That's not at all what I'm trying to get at.
I didn't think that's not the point that I was making.
No, I understand. So, like, instead of just throwing it out there, understanding who your demographic is. If you're speaking to women who have no intention on changing, you're wasting your breath. There's no point in just saying it just to say it. If you're going to have conversation with women who are maybe open to persuasion, that shaming tactic doesn't typically work because you wind up pushing them away, right? The whole point is speaking to your target demographic in a way that they receive information. That is the most effective tool of communication, right? You talk to people in a way they understand. You don't talk to people the way you understand and say, if you don't understand, that's your problem. That's not effective communication, right? That's my whole point behind it is these guys get a microphone in front of them and a cute setup, and they pick these girls who sell their bodies and they yell at them and they call them out their names. And they hope that all of the women in the world are going to sit there and say, okay, you know what? We're not going to do that. Especially when they're also showing clips of these women pushing back and not tolerating it. They see that as empowerment. They see you've now positioned yourself as a bully instead of a teacher. You've made yourself the bad guy by communicating in that fashion. And so if the goal is actually change, if your goal is to actually see some people, whether it's 1, 5, 10, 10,000, 10 million, whatever your goal is to see change, you're not actually affecting it because you're not executing the plan appropriately. That's all I'm saying.
HD, can me and you do a role playing where we both try and give a message, but you use shaming and I use another tactic? You feel like doing that?
You know what? I'm telling y'all the tactic that work, and y'all don't want to listen to it.
Well, I'm fine with that, but also, if you want to speak specifically to Fresh and Fit, their audience ain't women. The audience is men, and they're speaking directly to their audience as they're speaking to the women that's right in front of them.
Be fair, I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
They need to do what they need to do is they need to look and tell those men to stop liking these women's posts. Don't even follow them.
They literally do tell them that.
No, they don't. They literally
yes, they do. They literally tell them the reason
the
why these women acting dumb is because right after we get off on this show, y'all are in their DMs. That's the reason why they acting stupid.
But
they literally say that.
So does Fresh and Fit not give them an opportunity to say, "What can they follow you?" And they go around the room, and every person gives them their information.
Yes, but he also telling them, yo, this woman, she's on OnlyFans. Do not mess with this woman. And then they literally tell on the brothers, say, yo, right after I tell y'all don't talk to these particular women, they show me y'all in their DMs. And
but what
y'all the effing problem.
So what I'm saying to you, I can't sit here and say, don't follow these women. Oh, how can these people follow you? Go ahead and tell them how they can follow you. Like, it doesn't make sense. That's not how that was supposed to work, right?
Listen, how a lot of things are supposed to work, it ain't working. You tell people the truth and you would hope that they change, but that's not a guarantee that just because you told them the truth, that's not a guarantee that they go and change. That's why I keep saying what I'm saying. Like, yo, you can't always rely that people, when you tell people what they need to do, that they gonna do it. There's a reason why most people are broke. Everybody knows that if you keep spending more money, you're going to be losing most of your money than if you try to actually work to save your money and actually learn how to budget your money. Everybody knows this. But in fact that everybody has all the knowledge and all the resources in the world to Google and look on their phone and get all the information, they're still making stupid decisions, even though they have the answers. So whether you shame them, whether you try to educate them, whether you don't say anything, people are making their own decisions, even though they got the answers. You're not going to save them all, but that don't stop you from being able to try to save one person, because you shaming somebody ain't going to work for everybody. You educating them ain't going to work for everybody. You trying to love them through it ain't going to help everybody. You use what you're skilled to use, and you try to use that to get at least one person in the hopes that it will save somebody, but it is no guarantee.
All right, so let me set the scenario for the role playing. So Shan, you are OnlyFans model. You make $5,000 a month.
I don't even want to pay.
Okay, you want to play
$5,000 a month? Oh, you're trying to play me, Marcus?
Okay, you make $500,000. But I mean, when you get to a crazy number, it's the shame word. No word is gonna work.
You insult me twice, but go ahead.
No. I'm saying you get $500K. I was trying to give a number that's worth it even being reasonable to ask somebody to get off OnlyFans. If somebody making $100K a month and they don't have a tangible skill set, it's gonna be real hard to give it. It's like trying to stop somebody from selling drugs. If you don't present a better way for them to do something, they're not really trying to hear that.
Realistically speaking, the ones who are speaking are making a decent amount of money on there. Not making, you know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that if they're making, or they have the potential of making a decent amount of money, we gotta do the scenario so we can reach all of those people, not just the baby
The
mama.
amount. What's the amount we going with?
Let's just say they're making at least 10 grand a month.
Okay, you got 10 grand a month, and I'm trying to get you off OnlyFans, and HD trying to get you off OnlyFans. You want to go first, HD?
Okay.
What you got? Talk me off the cliff.
I can't talk off the cliff. You're making 500,000. You know what? Let me be your manager. Let me get 20% off. You know what I'm saying? Just let me get 20%. Maybe we take it to $1 million. You know what I'm saying? But listen, if I had to use the tactic of shaming you to not being on OnlyFans, I would say, what do you think your son thinks of you when he sees you making all of this money, getting all of this attention from these men that don't care nothing about you, but they're willing to take all of your sexual attention, right? And then your daughter, who you think is going to be a positive influence in this world, looking at her mother doing the same thing that she feels like is destroying the community. You think that this is viable thing for you to continue to do? That you're going to sacrifice your own integrity and character to put your body out here for something that is way less than what you're valued at? You're out here running a sale for $4.99 a month for them to see X amount of videos of you showing yourself that you should save for somebody that actually cares about you, somebody that's responsible for you, somebody that is actually willing to put their life on the line. And you're going to sit up here and sell your value, character, and integrity for an amount that doesn't even amount to the amount that you're actually truly worth. And because enough Negroes done seen it and saw it, and you thought that this was the number that you thought was feasible for you, and you're going to put this on the internet? What sense does that make? Ma'am, you're educated. You went to a HBCU. So you mean to tell
don't put
me?
HBCU in. We are hypothetical. We went to PWI.
Keep going, and you could get your pushback too in this scenario.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, you are way more than educated. You are way more than what it is that you are showing yourself to be on the internet. It doesn't make any sense to me with a woman as beautiful.
Can I come back? I'm gonna come back with my
yeah, you're an OnlyFans model. You don't got no decorum.
ghetto person.
Go ahead, be ghetto. Coachetto.
Listen, it's when I hear be sleeping with these men for free. At least I'm getting some money for it. She ain't got no ring. She just going from him to him to him. He playing her. He ain't giving her no money. At least I'm walking away with my bills paid.
I mean, listen, you can get your bills paid, but you about to be getting a higher cost than what is going to your bank account. And you have to understand that, listen.
But you talking about God? You bringing God in this?
No, I didn't bring God into it. I'm just saying it's a higher cost than what it is that you're going to be hitting your bank account. Because the reality is that just because you're making bread now, if you don't use this money wisely, it actually can handicap you.
Well, now you're giving financial. You're giving financial.
I'm just saying.
It went from talking me off the cliff to let's manage your money right.
I'm saying, like, listen,
you're horrible.
Money comes with slow profit.
Shaming.
Your turn, Mark.
You got to go harder when you shaming. You got to shame.
Oh no! I don't have to yell. I'm not gonna yell. I'm gonna shame you with reason. I'm gonna shame you with reason. You mean to tell me that nasty Negro that ain't never had a girl is worth him giving your time and your attention to?
Okay, I'm sorry. I processed that late. Go ahead. That nasty Negro was worth.
That you think a nasty Negro that never had a woman in his life, right? And that he can purchase your images for $4.99 a month. You think this what this man should be able to see?
Let me tell you,
$4.99.
I'm doing the society's work. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving this man attention because these women won't get this man attention. You know, I'm keeping him off the street. I'm sitting here helping him so that he won't be a menace to society. I'm doing everybody else a favor. What are you talking about?
So right now you want to be Janet Jackson and have community.
That was Janet
in the
Jackson.
world.
You say what? Janet Jackson.
So you want to be Janet Jackson in this world and have community titty out here in the world. I'm sorry,
You would
man.
not talk about Miss Jackson.
Hey, listen.
Like that.
He said you call her Miss Jackson if you want to be nasty, but if you want to be the nasty chick out here in these streets, throwing your titties out here for community gain, hey, listen, go out there and be great. You know what I'm saying? Get your paper, boo boo. Let you be great, but don't be hollering and screaming out at me 5 or 10 years down the line talking about my baby don't want to talk to me because I got my titties online and my boyfriend just purchased her OnlyFans because she ran a special.
Okay, HD, I heard your point. Okay, Marcus, go ahead and talk me off the clip. Go ahead. Let me see your part.
How you doing it? How you doing today, Bonquisha?
He put that sexy welcome to the
how you doing today, Bonquisha?
You
all
know,
right?
it's a Bonquisha out there that's mad that y'all using her name. Just say quickly.
All right. It's a quick. All right. How you doing, quickly? You all right? I think you got a lot going on in your life, and I understand that. You know what I'm saying? I know bills be due, the rent be hidden, and it just makes sense to try and get to this money. But really, I see some greatness in you, like a whole lot of it. You feel me? And I have a vision in my mind on what I think you could be. I think if you bought into that, we could get to the top, or you could prosper to the top. You don't got to be with me, but I just see you actually winning. And for you to win, I don't think you need to be giving everybody what's the best part of yourself. Now, by doing that, you make it not exclusive. And
get off the mic. Get out. You and your Chico Suave moves.
All right. So I can't even get my whole Smitty out. I was going for the gusto. I already done changed your mind slightly a little bit, maybe.
He don't like the quiet. I don't know if y'all what y'all call it. It's like the quiet storm here when they did the love. Welcome to the Love Shack.
Welcome to the Love Shack. Hey, but look, what I'm saying is, I think that what you got should be exclusive. You know what I'm saying? I see something in you that need to be locked down somewhere. And by you sharing that with everybody, you kind of fucking up that play. You cheating yourself. You got to treat yourself. That's what I want to see for you. I know you into this manifesting, right? Let's manifest the world and the lifestyle you want. And I don't think this is the move for you. I mean, I'm not going to pressure you to do nothing. I'm not going to push you too hard. You feel me? But I just think it's a different way you can move when you out here orchestrating. You see what I'm saying? I see better for you.
I see it. You're right. I see it.
He about to invite you to his room.
Marcus has practiced for this moment. It is evident.
But here's
hey, you gonna tell me this working? He about to break that back off and about to have a whole new show going on.
Had me thinking about my life, right?
But here's the thing. Shan was so flustered by what he was saying, she couldn't even let him finish the role play, right? You're telling me that wouldn't work on somebody who actually feels that way?
Listen.
But here's what happens on those pods though. Because while he's dialed in on Shan and she would be dialed in on Kwee, and Kwee is dialed in on him, Shay Shay sitting next to Kwee is gonna be like, but ain't no man gonna pay her bills though. No matter what you're saying about this exclusivity or whatever you were saying, ain't no man gonna pay her bills and ain't nobody gonna help her take care of that baby. So she's doing what she got to do. Girl, you go ahead and do you.
I respect that, and I understand that. I definitely understand that them bills be piling up. But shit, sometimes we gotta figure out a way to make our integrity pay us. It may be harder, but it's gonna pay you more in the long run. You know what I'm saying? I just see something in you. I believe that you can be what you need to be, and I don't think that your body is the only thing you got to offer. I actually think that you could figure out a way. It may not be easy. It may not be as glamorous. It's just showing your gorgeous body online. But I think it's another way. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a complete another way.
But you know what? I think that think about old girl who married that basketball player. what people don't understand, I think that some, even I think, and don't quote me, but I think even the Bible says that stuff is generational. They got that whoredom in them, like it passes on from like from generation. So you got to break that generational curse, so it's a little harder than that.
But see, those women actually push back though, on because I've seen tactics like that tried, Marcus, and I feel you. I understand exactly where you're coming from, but with what you said, a likely comeback is something like, oh no, I understand the long term, but who's going to take care of it in the short term? The second piece of that is so what you saying? I'm not using my brain too? Because they
Yeah,
snap
absolutely.
with you. They
Yeah, I
snap
got you.
back at you. You
That
know what I'm
comes
saying?
I was gonna respond. I was gonna respond to all them things. I got you. Now,
Hey, look, bro. Hey, look, pause. I ain't in this role play, cutting. Hold on now. Hold on now.
Never mind.
But no, I mean, I understand you. Like the they do everything that they can to prevent from accepting a different point of view. Everything you throw at them, regardless if it's shaming or if it's in the way you're actually packaging it, they're gonna on the pod. They're gonna do everything that they can to say, no, you're a man. You can't tell me what to do. Now, when they get off the pod, maybe they thought about what you said, but in those moments, they're gonna actually keep pressing for content because that's content for them too.
So let me say something too. Go ahead, Enos. But I wanted to address a comment in the chat. Go ahead, Enos.
So I find like this interaction right now super interesting because the last time we all did role plays and we had that scenario with that guy who wanted to be a pilot and couldn't fit in the seat, y'all were really quick to be super understanding when we're focusing on this issue right now and we can address the weight later. But for some reason, when it comes to women and behavior that isn't acceptable, that same care and gentleness seems to go out the window. So what is it about talking to women that doesn't allow for the same grace that men would like for themselves in similar situations?
Who's giving men grace? We said, yo, that fat guy that has to take up 2 seats affects more than just him. It affects the other people on the plane. What do you mean?
No. To her point, we all agreed that the way when she was talking about encouraging him and figuring a better way to not shame him and belittle him, it would make him try harder. I remember that too. We all was in agreement that day.
But
We all was in agreement.
But the difference is being in a relationship with somebody versus being on a podcast with somebody. Now, if we're talking about how you handle that in a relationship, there's a few nuances, right? Like, were they OnlyFans before you met them? Did they start OnlyFans after you met them? Why did they start the OnlyFans after y'all met? Why did you have the relationship, or why did you try to have a relationship that you knew that person was doing a job that you as a man didn't really like? Why did you decide to enter into that relationship with her doing that OnlyFans? Like, all of that context matters when we address something like this. Now, if we're talking about her gaining a little weight and not being able to be a helicopter pilot because of her weight, we would talk about that scenario, I think, a little bit different. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I think we got all the grace for women, but the thing is that women be saying some crazy stuff, but nobody says anything against it. Like, be saying certifiably wild stuff that make absolutely no sense, and nobody says anything to them. Nothing.
So you have to make sure that the person that they're saying it to is not just like them. Okay. So, for example, and I wanted to address this comment kind of in the same. Somebody said when I said whoredom, I'm sorry if that's not it trickles, right? So let's just look at it. So we can only go by what we can see because we don't know people's lives, right? But we can go by, okay, when I look at love and hip hop, right? The women who carry themselves in certain ways, and then you see their mother, and she kind of is like the same way. a lot of these girls have moms just like that. We just can't see the mom, right? She supports them. I mean, look at Black China, who has given herself to Christ. Good for her. Look at her mom, you know? And so when I say it trickles, you'll be amazed at a lot of these women. If you look at them, not always, but a lot of these women, you look at them and you look at their parent, the apple don't fall far from the tree.
What's
Nas,
probably
you just
consistent
made a
with
good point. Just real quick, I think Anaz actually posed a really good question because all I did was reverse the scenario that we talked about the other day. How would a man respond to a female in the same exact situation? And in that same exact situation, we're typically going to be direct. We're typically going to be likely blunt, and it wouldn't be handled with the same type of grace. And two reasons for that, I think, is that men and women are just different. And when looking at it, if a woman comes or talks to her man, some men are okay with it, but if a woman talks to her man the way men talk to men, he's going to take that some kind of way just because that is his woman. So I fully understand the point you were making there, and I was trying to think about it. It's like, wait a minute, we wouldn't handle it with that same grace or kid gloves. We just wouldn't, because men don't do that. Like, baby, you got to lose weight. That kind of thing is how we would handle it, and be like, hey, I'll go to the gym with you, and we can get this thing done if this is what you want to do. Meanwhile, what Inaz said 2 weeks ago, it might have been 3 weeks ago, what she said was, hey, let's look at doing this, and then let's look at doing this, and she didn't really address the weight right out of the gate. And the men on the panel said, you know what, that would be the best way to handle it because of the reaction from the man. So the point that Inaz made is just now is a really good question, and maybe something worth discussing.
So I think that one of the things is, one was your husband, the other one's just a chick that's on the internet. And also I think that men are just, look, men don't like you to give it straight. You can't bruise the ego. You gotta kind of tiptoe around it, because that ego, they take that ego thing like, you can't take him because you can't test his manhood,
Yeah,
I disagree. I think
do it.
I think men can take direct and straightforward from other men, but direct and straightforward coming from a woman doesn't sound the same. It sounds very different.
Yeah, I think the context matters.
So get your last about this, then we're gonna move on because we gotta get to the topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the context matters. Like, there's many women that are very direct with men, but how the way that their voice actually sounds. Like, if you got a really hard voice and you're direct with a guy and you're a woman, that's not going to go the same way. If you have a very sweet, caring voice and you're being direct, I really would like you to go with me. That's very direct. There is nothing to play with it. But the context of the situation, what she's asking, what she's saying, I think all that stuff matters. But I also think, like, I don't agree that shaming should be the only tactic. I don't think we should just be out here willy-nilly just shaming the streets just for kicks and giggles, for entertainment. I don't agree. However, the thing is if you're having a conversation with a person, and as you continue the dialogue and they start telling you things that it's like you feel led or you feel the reason to want to address in certain type of ways, listen, you're going to be held responsible for the way that you try to deal with it. But I don't think shame is the absolute worst answer, nor do I think that education isn't a bad thing either. I think everything should be a case-by-case basis. And the thing is like, people is wilding, and they don't see anything wrong, because even when you ask other people that don't agree with it, they say, oh, It's nothing wrong. You're not doing nothing wrong. Do you, baby, and just keep it going. It's because we have this need to not really push the envelope, even though it should be pushed, because we just like, oh, we don't want to rock the boat. They ain't gonna change anyway. I just want people to be willing to understand, like, yo, if nobody says anything or does anything, we continue to have the same results.
But you
Real
know
quick
what?
question.
How is that? So my question is, I agree. It's about the approach, right? So we were talking about fresh and fit. Do you not agree that the approach may be inappropriate? So, for example, fresh and fit may tell them that this is not the way you should go. But then let's just say if Jordan Peterson came to them and said, okay, this is why maybe they would take it a little different. Do you not think that the approach matters in situations like that?
I think it just matters what situation. It depends if this person is a listener or not. It depends on what was said. There's a whole bunch of stuff that happens in a conversation. Like, are you listening? Do you care? Can you like make sense? Can you ground this? If you're a person that just doesn't care what nobody thinks, whether Jesus, Jordan Peterson, Buddha, it don't matter who said it. They not changing. It don't matter.
But I think that's with anybody, men and women.
I know, but that's the point that I'm making. It's not, you have to have a person that's willing to actually listen to that information. And in some people's defense, the shame will get you to listen. It might get you upset. It might get you pissed off, and it may make you reject it. But at some point, something might come that reaffirms that same thing that person said that pissed you off. And now you can turn around and be like, that pissed me off. But now it's starting to make some sense. Now, but like I said, I don't agree. Just be shaming people for no reason. And even the way that I was shaming you, you was like, I should go harder. I said, listen, there's a level of shame that I'm delivering to you that actually makes you think about what it is that you're doing. And I'm actually talking about you're worth more than what it is that you're selling yourself for. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm still shaming you, but I'm also still bringing a light to your value and your integrity that you're not seeing in the pursuit of what it is that you're pursuing.
Gotcha. All right, let's do these super chats. Can you hit it for us? Oh, we already did that. That wasn't a super chat, but that was
Sir Shot 87, $2. Sexy Red and others know they just hate the shaming.
Oh, when we were talking about she doesn't know any better. I don't know. I think.
Yeah.
I think some people, and the reason why I say that because I'm in a field where I see people of different, raised different ways, and I know that sometimes I'm the first voice of reasoning that has ever put it in their head, like this is why you should do this, and they seem to like, and you would think that they would learn that at home, but they don't. So I disagree with that a little bit. I don't know about her situation. I can just tell you what I thought I saw, but who knows? Who knows? Okay, so the next one is attractive women are more faithful in relationships. Can y'all believe that? Can y'all read this for me, somebody?
A study by Jim McNulty published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that less attractive women are more likely to cheat. According to the researchers, the better looking a woman is, the more likely she is to be faithful. There's very little to explain why this might be the case, but there's an inverse correlation between attractiveness and likelihood to cheat in women. I have a theory.
Let me say that there was 2 other studies which JR wouldn't let me upload because I had a max. And they piggyback, and it was different people who had done the same study, and they found that this is to be true. What are your thoughts on that?
So my theory is this. The most attractive women usually end up with the man that they actually wanted. And because they ended up with him, they're less likely to cheat because they are satisfied within that relationship and worried about losing him more than if you're delusional and believe you're extremely attractive and are dating somebody you feel you're above because that's the person that would actually give you a relationship. So it would make sense for you to cheat. Not that cheating makes sense, but you know what I'm saying.
Good
I don't
point.
know. That's just my offhand thought.
I think you're onto something, because similar to men, when you have all of the options, you have your pick of the litter, right? And at the same time, I think the other part of it is attractive women are used to attention, and so it doesn't phase them the same way as unattractive women. Same thing for men, right? If you're unattractive and you start to get all this attention, you don't have the same not jadedness, but not discipline either. It doesn't have that shiny layer. Like, it's not so new to you, right? So it doesn't have the same effect. And I think women are the same, right? Women who aren't used to the attention, once they start to get it, or they get it from somebody that they think is attractive, equally or more attractive than their partner, I don't think they know how to conduct themselves, to be honest.
Yeah, I think you're both right, but I think also it's kind of hard to cheat if you're not in a relationship with nobody. And a lot of beautiful women ain't in a relationship with nobody. They literally doing what they want for as long as they want. They can get any man that they want for to do whatever they want. And like y'all were talking about earlier, like sometimes it's not worth it to be with one guy when you can get what you want from any guy. And then also, some of those really attractive women have terrible attitudes. So they might get a bunch of guys, but they don't keep a bunch of guys. So I think that there's a number of really attractive women that are very successful and have successful relationships. But I also think that there's a number of attractive women just don't. Like, there's many guys that's like literally will bypass quote unquote tens because they're just like, this is just too much hassle. And I can just see it's hassle, and I'm just going to avoid it altogether. But I do think there's some credence to what you guys are saying, that if women that think they're more attractive than what they actually are, and they're in relationships where they feel unfulfilled, of course they're going to want to go someplace else because they're not getting fulfilled where they're at. They're going to continue to look for the thing that quote unquote makes them happy.
So
In that scenario, would shaming be the best policy? Oh, I'm sorry.
So I
I
actually think
well, no, but go ahead.
I think it's a little bit of what everyone has said so far. I'd also add that the more attractive women are typically more selective, as was stated before, but unattractive women will the low-lying fruit guys will go after give the attention to the less attractive women, so the women don't feel like they have dated up. And again, it goes back to both Marcus and Dina's point. This basically, this dude is a what y'all call them, pookies. This dude is a pookie, and he could bust down ugly chicks, and he's not committing to her. So I mean, the more attention, it's really about the attention. Because I'm gonna tell you, when I had them dry spells back in the day, wasn't nothing like finding an ugly chick, because they were, quite frankly, easy to smash. I mean, that's the truth. Their self-esteem is it's not the same as attractive women.
So for me, I agree with everybody, and I think that this statement is true. I think that attractive women are a little harder to get, and so they may have, and the reason I say that, they may have a lot of options, but do they want those options? You know what I'm saying? So, like Marcus said, they probably have the guy that they want. They're not going to screw it up for the guy that just a random dude that's not even what their husband is. Like, that's just dumb. And I do believe, and I hate to say this, but I do believe that that people like validation, especially women. Okay. It's kind of like that Aisha Curry. Remember how she was like, I want to know that I'm sexy to a lot of men. She's got Steph Curry, right? But she still wanted to know that she was sexy to the other man, right? But she's going to get that attention. She can get validation she doesn't have to cheat. the likes will give her that, right? And so with attractive women, they can get that validation just because somebody liked their post or people give them compliments. Whereas somebody who's unattractive may have to find it in other ways. And sometimes, unfortunately, that means do things that make you desirable, which is, where's the place that you feel the most desirable? In the bedroom, right? And so they may have to do a little bit more to get that validation than a person who, is just skipping past the people in their inboxes like whatever. That's just
just a quick question to both you, Shan, and Inaz. Is that a common trait for most women, period? That what you were talking about, Steph's wife?
What do you mean?
I want to know that I have other guys' attention as well, or I can get it, or is that a common trait?
What so what, run it back for me. I was reading a comment.
So he's saying the comment that Aisha Curry made about wanting other men outside of her husband to find her attractive. Is that common in women?
Okay, so let's just say this. Okay, I don't think it's something people will say. It's not like, I don't know why she said that out loud, like it came out of her mouth or wherever we got that from. I don't know why she said that, but let's just not act. I know, I didn't agree with it, but nobody wants to think that they're ugly. They want to look good, and people still think they got it. You know what I'm saying? Even outside of they may not go on it. They may not be like, oh, I'm gonna sleep with him. It's not gonna go that far, but a little bit to know that you still, I'm still fine. That's why when people are that's why when women are married, they're getting these, the older they're getting, they're still keeping themselves up. Even married women keep themselves up, and sometimes it's just for the work, or she feels good about herself and she likes to, and what I'm saying is not to do anything with it. She's not going to move. It's not for cheating purposes. It's just to be like, I like to know that I still look good.
That sounds like a self-esteem thing to me, because you're talking about a very beautiful woman still wanting to know that she looks good to other men. Like, does she not know she looks good? And if she knows she looks good, that she's attractive to probably about 95% of men.
Right. But let's just be honest. I don't think people are really flirting with Aisha Curry just because they know she's Steph Curry's wife. Like, nobody's even, I don't know. I'm not a man. Are y'all even looking at her that kind of way?
Let me rephrase
She's a gorgeous woman. Are y'all? It's so because you're not looking at her that kind of way. It's like, well, is it me? Am I not attractive anymore? You know what I'm saying? When in actuality, it's like you're married to Steph Curry. We know that you're married. We respect him as a ball player. We'll never hit on you that way. It's not, but she doesn't know that. You understand what I'm saying?
I do. Let me rephrase this and ask AP and HD a question. Do you prefer your woman to be so attractive other people notice, or do you want a woman that you feel is not noticed by other people and they like whatever, she's just there? You muted.
To answer honestly, I don't give a damn what anyone else thinks. I made the choice, right? It was my choice. I found her beautiful. So whether other men do or not is irrelevant to me. I personally could care less.
Depends. I do care about what my mom and my dad think as far as how she looks. Because my dad is gonna talk about me. My mom's gonna be like, "What's going on?" So I'm gonna keep it a being. Like, if my dad thinks she ugly, oh, he gonna fry me to the ends of the earth. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be honest in that regards. But I would say that I am fine with having an attractive woman that other people say is attractive, because the reality is if she my girl and she want me, you know what I'm saying, I'm Gucci. Now, granted, she want to go out and be stupid, I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm secure enough in myself that understand, like, listen, when I got a girl, I got a girl. She can, if she want to belong to the streets, hey, go be great. Don't play the game with HD. HD will leave you in the streets.
And you hear, you know, I've seen in the chat, oh, that's low self-esteem. Okay, so if it's low self-esteem, then you wouldn't care what you look like when you walk outside the door. You're like, shoot, I'm gonna just walk up out of here like I don't even care. You ain't care about no makeup.
You see
You
how
ain't
fast
care
that
about
finger came up?
these chicks will be getting their hair done every week, like spending all this money to keep their hair up. It would be lashes. Do you know how expensive the upkeep on some of these women is? It's ridiculous, right? And so if it was all just about self-esteem, it wouldn't even matter. It's just like, I know I got sweatpants on, I'm dressed down, but I'm still like, that self-esteem. So you don't mind what your woman look, because even your woman is a representative of you. Like, she represents you. Y'all are one, right? So if you don't mind this chick going out looking any kind of way representing you, then that's fine. But I would hope that you guys want somebody who represents you well. She's not gonna show up at the company function just with some tennis shoes on and a formal dress, like, you know. But baby, it's myself. Like, I'm confident in myself. Who care what these people think? Like, you know. So
Well, that wasn't the question that was asked.
So
no, I was saying in the comments. I was addressing the
Oh,
comments
okay. I'm sorry.
that you guys have said. They were like, well, that sounds like low self-esteem. No, it's not about low self-esteem. It's how you carry yourself. It's a brand. You are a brand, your husband's brand. You have to represent your husband well. And that comes with unfortunately, validation from others. And when you're branding yourself, people gotta like the brand, okay? Whether it's not just about, especially if you're a business person or you are, or whatever it is that you're doing. Now, do you want to take it to the level of cheating? Absolutely not. But to sit here and say, when I get married, I don't care about what other people think about me. I just care about like what. Come on, it's not the truth.
So I agree with the commenter saying that it's low self-esteem, because the way that I see it is that if you're looking for validation from anybody other than your man, that's a self-esteem issue. You should be keeping yourself up for your man. Now, if he gets validated by you keeping yourself up, that's a totally different story. That's his validation. He needs that external validation or wants it, right? I don't think most men need it. I think most men want it. But if you're looking for somebody who's not your husband to tell you you're attractive or to flirt with you, that is a self-esteem issue. You already have a husband. Why else would you need it? And I think, to answer AP's original question, I think there's only ever those two categories of women. The women who want validation from strictly their man, and the women who want validation from every man that they come across.
But so let me just say this, because I would put into social, people who post often on social media, right? You're looking for something. If you're posting all the time a picture of yourself, we have seen you 1,001 ways this week, but you keep posting yourself. You know, that's some type of validate that there's something that you are like, you know, it's some type of attention. I've even seen people who probably take down pictures that didn't get a certain amount of likes because they feel like, oh, I didn't look good in that picture. So that must be, or people who verify their pictures like, oh, let me not gonna put that on. Did this picture look good? That's still a form of validation. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to look back, because if you care about you, you wouldn't even care. You like, yo, my hair ain't done, but I'm gonna post this picture looking a hot freaking mess because I don't need it's not about you validating me. But we
So I agree with you on the premise of if you're doing that just for you and just for validation. The other side of that is that there's a lot of people, whether you realize it or not, that are putting this stuff up as paid content. You might not see, but somewhere hidden in the caption is the product that they're selling to you, right? So on that front, if it's business and you're getting paid that way, I don't see that as validation. That's a business model.
Well,
but if
I'm not talking about the people who have tons of followers. I'm talking about regular people.
So absolutely, right? So when we look at like Aisha Curry, we see that insecurity. But when we look at like, say, Morris Chestnut's wife, most people don't even know her name. She's very average looking. She's not ugly, but she's not exceptionally beautiful either. Once Twitter found out that he was a married man and they found her picture, the question everybody was asking was, can she fight? Right? Like, she's not on social media. She's not plastered all over the place. She's not like posting pictures of herself. She's not even branding herself. She's just an average woman, right? That is somebody who's very secure, because Morris Chestnut is a very attractive man.
Mm-hmm.
She is somebody who is secure in her relationship, who only seeks validation from her husband. She doesn't need the validation from other men. And so that's where I'm making that distinction, is that you have women like Aisha Curry, who has a business, who has all this other stuff and isn't posting herself just for likes, but still desires that attention from men who aren't her husband. And then you have women like Morris Chestnut's wife, who's very much in the background, supporting the family, taking care of everything behind the scenes, doesn't care about anybody but her man. I don't know where, like, I don't think there's a line in between those two women.
I absolutely agree. We're talking about celebrity level. But let me just say this. I think that we wouldn't be disingenuous, as y'all like to say, if we're sitting here, if one day you just stopped getting the attention. One day, all of a sudden, men were not looking at you. They didn't like a post. They didn't. I think that would hurt your self-esteem in some type of, because especially if you're used to get attention in some way, form, or fashion, you're going to think something is wrong with you. I think that it's easy to say when you get attention, I don't care about it. You take it for granted. But we're talking about people who don't get attention. Okay. Nobody wants to trade places with that person. Trust me.
So I seen a skit where this dude was like, he was talking about dating a girl and bringing her to the family barbecue, and he said he was salty because his uncles ain't say, "Okay, nephew, I see you." Like, you know, when you bring something nice, they be like, "Okay, nephew, I see you. You got something on you." He was like, he didn't get that reaction, and he was salty as hell about it.
Yeah, man. Because listen, how your woman look, it reflects positively on you. If she looks like trash, you know what I'm saying? She, like, everybody gonna be like, shoot, you could do better. Now she looks great. You know, that adds to your thing. But listen, I wanna give.
Let me just say this real fast, because we keep saying she. Men do it too. That's why y'all in the gym look at yourself in the mirror. Drop the joint and you.
I mean,
you think she care about them little listen, y'all in that gym trying to keep fine. Yeah, y'all be doing it. Y'all be post-trap. Y'all be trapping too, just like thirst
yes,
trap.
I'll admit it.
Don't do it.
I'll admit it. If I went outside and nobody was like giving me that look anymore for the rest of my life, I'll probably be like, damn, what happened? I definitely would wonder, like, what happened? I'm gonna keep it real.
And well, Marcus, you're 6'7". Everybody's giving you the look, bro.
But I'm saying, if I never got it again in life,
you are 6'7". You gonna get it when you're 76.
But he's saying if he never got it again,
you'll never have to worry about it. He is taller than 94% of the population. He's gonna get the look. Them panties is wet, Marcus. Cut it out. They're gonna always be that way as long as you 6'7". If you were 5'8", you might not get the look, bro.
Just yeah. I want to give a tactic that a lot of women use. Now, Inaz, we don't know this woman. You don't know what she's thinking. You don't know what she's feeling. She could very well be thinking the same way that Aisha Curry is feeling. Now, granted, she didn't put herself out on Front Street. She never puts herself out there, which is a smart thing to do. Because the thing is if you put yourself out there, you're gonna get hammered just like Aisha did. And specifically to Aisha, that's why a lot of guys and people in general aren't checking for Aisha anymore. Is because of that. We were like, what? You got Stephen Curry as your husband, and you out here seeking validation from the gas station, dude? What? Oh, you're not even a respectable woman. So this, like, you look respectable, and we thought you was cool. And this is why a lot of people say that a lot of beautiful women stop being attractive the second they open up their mouth. Because oftentimes, if women really said how they felt and they really gave their opinion, some brothers would just turn and walk the other direction.
And you know what's so funny? because I'm looking at Morris
Good
Chestnut's
point.
wife's page, right? And while she's very modest, she doesn't do the most. These pictures are not like I'm at home with my hair in a bun looking. These are very well put together.
What's her name?
Her name is Pamela.
Pam Bice.
Mhm.
Pam Chestnut now, I think.
Right. She's strategic about what pictures she puts on her. I'm saying if you're so confident in yourself, you know that bad without that filter, post. If you're so confident in yourself, that day when your hair is not done, because it ain't done all the time, and you just selfie, you wouldn't be so strategic about which selfies you are putting up, which you look like when you post, because you're confident, right? It wouldn't even matter. Filters wouldn't even be a thing.
But so why does her being strategic about the photos she posts and being done up for the photos that she posts not a representation of her husband's brand and is more so a representation of her insecurity?
Well, she has selfies, so it's more like, it's
No, I understand. What I'm asking is, why is her being strategic about that?
So
not to make sure her husband looks good instead of making him look crazy.
Correct. So anyway it goes, it's still validation from other people, whether it is because I'm doing it for my husband or I'm doing it for myself. You still want to look good for other people. It's no longer about you, because if you thought you were enough, it wouldn't even matter, right? So you are still trying to be validated in something. Like I say, it's not always because you want to cheat. It's just sometimes just to, for whatever. And we don't know that we would never know either way, because neither one of us know her. We don't know. It could very well be because of her husband. It could very well be because of, we just don't know. But what we do know is if a person is used to getting attention and all of a sudden that stops, I think it's a high chance that is going to be like that will be a shocker. Period.
Yeah, her forehead just bothers me. That's all.
Shut up, HD. She's a beautiful woman.
This is true.
She's an adjustable seven.
It's just that forehead bothers me a little bit. That's all. And it ain't my wife. Listen, she don't care nothing about me, and I don't care nothing about her. All I'm saying is when I see her, the first thing I see is forehead. That's all.
Shout out to Morris Chestnut, the black man holding his family down and having success in the family. Shout out there.
Beautiful woman. But I just said, I think that it's just easier to say if you are an attractive person, you're used to getting that. I think that, like we talked about earlier, women are going above and beyond just to get that attention. They want it. Like women want attention. You know what I'm saying? They want to know that they're loved, they're desirable. Even if they don't move on it, they do want to know, they're the princess. They're.
Let me read these super chats. So we got Congo English with the 10. Thanks, Joe. Good topic. Appreciate the dialogue. Respect. Appreciate you, sir. We got GBG Grizzly. Shout out to GBG. Gang. Formerly Grizz Treats with the 199. So indirectly, you're arguing 80% of women are insecure.
I'm arguing that 80% of people are insecure, not just women. I think it's people. Because men do the same thing. They even get jobs to make themselves look better. Like it's about the career. You ever seen a man flossing his money or doing things to make himself be a better person, or even just bragging about himself? Like, I think people, I don't think it's just women. I think people like to be validated just in different ways.
Have more insecurities than men?
When it comes to beauty, yeah. I think men have insecurities in other ways.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. So do you still hold the statement that attractive women are more faithful in relationships in general?
Yeah. Well, that was research.
Can you pull that article back up?
I didn't do that. And it's more, just put it in your phone. It's more people who did the research. It was like different universities that did research. So JR just put a cap on how much I can send him.
Study by Jim McNulty, published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, found that less attractive women are more likely to cheat. According to the researchers, the better looking a woman is, the more likely she is to be faithful. There's very little to explain why this might be the case, but there's an inverse correlation between attractiveness and likelihood to cheat in women. I also want to know, how did they measure attractiveness?
So this is what they did, because one article did go into it. The problem was I couldn't copy that one because it was one of those ones that give you information. Advertisement, give you information, advertisement. I was like, I'm not going to be sitting here clipping all these. This is ridiculous, these advertisements. But one of the things they said they did was they put pictures in front of people, right? So they noticed that the people who consider it took a little bit of a pause to move, right? Whereas and it could be just she's just less attractive. She's just like, broop, broop, broop. It's almost like Bumble. Broop. No. I'm not leaving my husband for that one. I'm not leaving my husband for that one, that one. Where some people were like,
And then it's self-reported cheating too. Or whether I really would need to hear a lot of, like, some of the statistics I hear, I kind of have so many more questions behind the statistic.
And maybe they're just more unattractive people than there are attractive people. So it's just the numbers.
Yeah, I don't know. So GBG Grizzly, shout out to GBG again, formerly Grizz Treats with the 199. Fellas is not wanting to be broke insecure. Do you think that do y'all think that?
I'm glad he put this because that we are going over this right now. The question that I have is he trying to draw a correlation between the pocket of a man versus the beauty of a woman? And if that is the case, then I disagree with the premise of the argument, mainly because I believe it depends on the mindset of the person. So for me, I have never stated and won't ever state how much I make online. I've never stated it. So I want to have money because I want to have things. Right. Like that's why I don't want to be broke. I want to be able to pay all my bills and still go to France, not in 2024, but 2025. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not the same. Now, again, there are men who only go get the bag to get the woman, and in those cases, I would say yes, it's an insecurity.
We were talking about the flossers. You know, people who floss. You can get the bag and not floss it, right? So I was speaking more so the flossers, but just think about it this way. Everything we do is validation. Being a part of a social organizations is validation. And being, even Greek validation. We just don't even look at it that way. It's some badge of, that's why everybody want to be basketball players. You think it's because of valid. It's like you the man. It's like a power that comes along. It's about being validated. You understand what I'm saying? It's all driven by that. And it just is bragging rights. But go ahead, Yvonne. Sorry.
I had a question for AP because of the way he answered the question. Can they not still be both insecurities, where one is a financial insecurity and the other one is a personality insecurity?
No, absolutely. And that's why I try to go into full detail. It depends on the reason as to the purpose of the going after the bag for a man. Am I doing it to floss and to get chicks? Then that's definitely me flexing an insecurity that I have. Mm-hmm. But if I'm doing it because I want things that let's say I didn't grow up with, like I grew up without a passport, right? I could never my mom could never go get me Jordans, right? We were broke. I don't want that to be the end of my story. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know I'm kind of personalizing this, but in order to answer the question, it is, I don't see that as an insecurity. It is, in my opinion, to make sure I am secure. Like, the kids are good, the family's good. If I could do that with $30,000 a year, then I would probably do it with $30,000 a year. But you can't live it. Like, you can't have that the lifestyle that you want. I guess that is an insecurity when I say it like that. Because once I mention lifestyle, it's all about
keeping up with the Jones.
The perception, not even necessarily that, the perception I have of myself. Like, if I don't have I don't feel secure. Thus, it would be, it's not about what somebody else has, it's the opinion I carry of myself, which is where the insecurity comes from. Good call out, Inaz. I'm not liking you tonight right now. That's twice.
Is anybody else want to give their opinion on that? Listen, I don't argue with the research. That's what it says. So if you got you an attractive woman, assuming that she don't feel like she lower her standards for you, 9 out of 10, she is not going to cheat on you, according to research.
I would say if any woman, honestly, if any woman feels like she's dating up, marrying up, the likelihood of her cheating on you is slim. Is when she thinks she can do better, is when that.
Yeah, I don't think so. Sometimes it's just, what I'm starting to believe too, it's just like a break away from your life. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's an escape. You know, maybe you go on a girl's trip, you're like, it's just, I just want to escape. Kind of like he just escapes. I think that there are women who just do it because they just want to escape from their everyday, like what they're doing, you know. Anybody who cheats is always for a selfish reason. Because obviously the name for the household is for a selfish reason. But
no, explain that. An escape from their life. That means the man is inadequate in some way? If they're trying to get away from it?
Maybe. Because even if you're in a situation where he's providing you all the luxury goods, imagine how much time he's away from the house for him to do that, you know? When you the more successful a person is, the more time they're putting towards making that success happen. So you may be losing, you know, as far as quality time is concerned, may get a little like, oh, I wish my husband were here a little bit more. And so maybe you know, date the pool guy. Or it could be like, oh, you know, I'm doing all these things in the house. You know, I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I have children, you know, every day to day. Oh, and you go on the girls' trip and it's just, you want to do something. Wow. I don't know what these people are thinking. I'm not a cheater. However, I'm thinking that these are maybe some situation.
I'm gonna go back to the point that Inaz and AP made. I agree with y'all. I think that it is. Because I remember distinctly when it was a time in my life where I always had to be the freshest and pull up in a nice car, and all those things had to be hitting on point. And not only did it have to be, it defined me in a way, like what Jay said, I'm supposed to style, I'm a hustler, supposed to child, rock lizards and crocodiles. Like I kind of thought about that philosophy in terms of how, I mean, hey, Jay be coming with it, how I should be represented. And then I kind of reached the point where I was like, man, I got a lot of shit and I don't use any of this shit. Now it's just piling up. And it's a hassle to deal with, maintain, transport, watch, do all this other stuff with. And I was just like, why do I need this stuff? Like, really, like, what's the purpose? Like, does it make me happier? Does it make me feel more complete? And then I kind of start feeling like, well, I love having this family. I love, being there for people who appreciate it. I love that type of stuff. And then it kind of shifted how I kind of viewed it. So I agree with y'all on that.
How about we reverse this? How about when we talk about, the Lizzos and everybody who have high self-esteem of themselves, and we're like, but we poke at them to make them feel a little less about themselves because they're not moving the way we would like them to move, right? Or how we were just talking about, the guy who's not getting girls, and we'll sit down and we'll change some things around about him. He may be confident in himself. He may have high self-esteem, and that's the reason why he moves the way he moves. But we got to change some things about him so the opposite sex can find him to be attractive. Like all that is trying to be validated, right?
So before we get into that, I wanted to say something to what AP said earlier. If you don't have that self-confidence, if you attain somebody who you think is out of your league, the likelihood of cheating is still high, just as much as settling, because self-sabotage is a real thing.
Yeah.
So just because you get somebody who you feel is higher than you does not guarantee somebody being faithful.
Did I Just out of curiosity, did I say guarantee or did I say likely?
So if you're not secure in yourself, it is just as likely for them to cheat as it is as somebody who feels like they're settling.
Oh, I see. So you're taking it back to the self-esteem piece. Got it.
Yeah.
What percentage of women do you think cheat?
You know what? We'll never know.
Yeah,
I ain't telling that shit. Y'all
the
ain't
way
gonna,
y'all laughing is how niggas be laughing.
y'all ain't
So-
gonna never look. Let me tell you, when a woman don't want to tell you something, you ain't gonna find. You ain't gonna never know. So it's hard.
All right.
I just know I don't.
Majority or minority? Majority or minority?
I don't think it's the majority.
I don't either, but I think it's a large minority.
But I do think that there are things that make her cheat. I do think that revenge cheating is a thing. I think there are women who you cheat on her, she feels like it's a get back. You know, I do feel like there are certain things that take place that make it more likely that she will cheat on you or that she has cheated on you. But for the majority, I don't think that the majority of women who are married are cheating. But I do know that they do say that if a woman leaves you, it's because she already got in her head, like, who is she leaving? So I don't know. That's what they say. Hearsay.
What number you got?
So I think the statistics. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you can go.
I think the statistics say somewhere around 20%, and I think it's close to the same for men, if I'm not mistaken. But it's all self-reporting, so I agree with AP that it's a minority, but I think it's a large minority.
Yeah, I say it is a minority only because women like that trump card, that they have it, but they don't use it. So I think that's why I think it's a minority instead of the majority. But if we think about the propensity and the availability to do it, because they got somebody on the back burner, I would say that brings it to the majority, not the minority.
Yeah, I think it's opportunity based. So if they come in contact with their dream person, those numbers change. But most people don't really like physically come in contact with people that provide the real temptation plus opportunity. So I think that it may seem more likely than not. But that's just my personal opinion. So I'm gonna say 39% cheat.
So I think 100% of both men and women have a propensity, if they run across that person, that, you know, let's say I run across Halle Berry, it's going down. There's no question, just cause. But I think everybody has that one person that they'll never run into. With that being said, I'd say it's closer to probably about 25, maybe a quarter of women and a quarter of men, and 0% of black men. I said what I said.
Black men don't cheat.
But they sure lie.
Black men don't lie. Black men are the black man is God.
I just heard two people lie in the last 5 seconds.
What they say, women don't cheat. That was a lie.
No.
Yeah, I agree. Black men don't cheat, but we do lie.
About how much we don't want to cheat.
Listen, you can find the evidence and they gonna stick with that lie. They gonna stick with it. You did not see what you thought you saw.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. Meanwhile, what's that shaking? It wasn't me.
It wasn't me. Yo, I was thinking about this the other day. When they say 1/3 of the babies that get paternity tested, you find they aren't the person that get paternity tested. Just to how I think stats be skewed, I would think that if you desired a paternity test, you already kind of felt like you were dealing with somebody that potentially cheated on you or they were
Well, these
unsure.
people aren't married. They're not married to these people.
Right. You understand what I'm saying? So the group size of it's not testing for all the so all right, I'll give you an example. Say it's 10 people, right? 30% of them believe that the person is 100 people. And out of that 100 people, 90% of them believe the child is theirs and don't get tested because they don't have no cheating, whatever, right? That other 10% actually get tested. And of that 10%, of those 10 people, 3 end up not being. So it'll look like 30 people, but it may actually only be 3. Did I explain that right?
You did.
You get what I'm okay.
How you read the stat, like it's
To read the stat, yeah. I was curious about
it's
that.
kind of like when they say 70% of kids are born out of wedlock. People are like, 70% of black women have kids. Like, that's not what that stat said. It says 70% of kids were born out of wedlock, which means Shaniqua could have had 5 kids, and they're counting each one of her kids. But never mind.
Yeah, Shaniqua don't appreciate you putting 5 random.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shaniqua.
Show Shaniqua some respect.
Queen. You meant Queen. Sorry.
No, we meant Karen. Karen had 5 kids.
So I will say this to that stat. This will be the most simple statement I have ever said on this show. After 4 years, I don't want to know. Don't tell me.
Yeah. It's
don't
not
tell me
anybody any good after that.
I want to know, but you should take you and the kid to a whole new destination.
That's what we call plausible deniability.
No, for real. I don't want to know because I don't know how I would respond. I honestly don't know how I would respond. And again, I'm typically even keel. I'm even keel about most things except for the 2 kids.
Look, when I heard you say that,
if I found out, go ahead.
When I heard you say even killed, all I heard was I'll typically even kill.
No, like, that's what I did. That's why I tried to do that right there.
Okay.
Except when it comes to the kids.
I know a professional football player that happened to. He's a mutual friend of mine, and he found out while they were dating that the little girl that he had been taking care of for 5 years was not his, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't walk away. He was like, "That's my little girl. I'm sorry." And he didn't like the mama. He was like, "I can't even walk away from her, man. That's my best girl." Like he stayed.
I could walk away.
Let me just ask you, AP and HD, one quick question. I just got to get this out. You know what I'm about to say?
Don't ask it.
I don't know what you're about to say.
Let it rip, bro. Let me set the word on fire. Let's go.
Okay, look. This is a bullshit. I already know it's about to be crazy, but y'all don't believe in domestic violence, right?
We don't believe in it?
No, them
you don't support it.
You're not supporting domestic violence.
Not under any I say not under any circumstance, but you tell me them 2
like so. If your sister man beat her up, you probably would go over there and beat him up behind it or do something about it, right?
Yeah, we gotta do something.
Okay, if you find out that she had a baby that wasn't his and he raised that child for 10 years and then he beat her up behind that, what is your response to that?
You still gotta yoke him up. That's tough, but you still gotta yoke him up even though she wrong. I'm gonna tell her she wrong, but
like,
you beating up my sister ain't about to go down either.
No, I wouldn't. I actually wouldn't. Understanding how I might respond, if all she got was beat up, she got lucky. You just said 10 years. 10 years is a long time to be raising somebody else's kid under do what?
I didn't a guy sue for that though. And when he on like paternity, he sued her because she lied and he went through a whole bunch of stuff. And so he came back and he sued her because she intentionally did it.
And he lost.
He did.
He still had to pay child support. Yeah.
Listen, there was this guy on I think it was on them divorce shows or whatever. He had this kid who thought it was his kid. He went to jail for back child support.
That's the one we're talking about. He sued.
Yeah, since the day of, he was like, nah, bro, like this ain't my kid. Then find out that that's not his kid, and he went to jail. Man,
Twice. He went back to jail again on the child
that's the guy
support.
I'm talking about. He did try to sue because somebody dropped the ball somewhere. It was crazy. It was like something that happened. But anyway,
it was him. He didn't show up at the so guys, if you get a paternity a letter of affidavit or whatever it is that says you need to go get tested, if you fail to go, if you ignore that letter, it is possible you can get a default judgment and you will be entered as the parent without ever actually being a parent. Please make sure y'all go and take that test if it ever come down here. Yeah, cannot stress this. Please take that test.
Them little coins you take like why aren't y'all getting a test? Especially if you're not married to this chick. You should just go. You have the right to demand a paternity test. You do. Now, whether you want to pay for that, it may be a good investment. Go pay to have a paternity test. They can do it for you. And they have cheap ones now. So whenever it's your custody, they just swap that mouth real fast and put it in the mail.
Yeah, but Marcus, like, listen, he beat up on my sister. Is it warranted? Is it understandable? Yes, but that don't mean you beat up on my sister.
I think I'm gonna stay out of that one. I'm not I help you a lot of stuff. That's what I'm gonna be like. You did what?
Right.
I'm gonna have to stay out that one. That's
I
call the police or something. I don't know.
Like that. No, I put myself in that situation, right? How would I respond? And the fact is that I don't know how I would respond. Lets me know that just about any response is the irrational, rational response.
Years, recitals, you changed your life behind these kids. You spent all of your money. You gave up on all your side holes so you could be in the home with the family. Like you did all of these things, and she stole 10 years of your life with a fake kid. And all that's a hard pill to swallow, bro. Like, that's a hard pill to swallow.
I'm sorry, that's his fault.
Huh?
It's his fault.
Why?
It's his fault because he can get a paternity test.
Wait, for accepting responsibility for a kid that was said to be his, and he had no other reason but to believe
my
that?
thing. This is what I'm talking about. Listen, this is where y'all go wrong. Y'all gotta stop listening to these women that y'all situation shipping. Y'all don't trust them for nothing else, but for some strange reason you trust them with your sperm. For some reason you trust them when they say this your kid. Where does it stop from I trust them to I don't trust them? Like I'm not understanding, like y'all trust them with the craziest things, but don't trust them with the other. Like it's so weird to me. If she is not your wife, you're not with her on a day-to-day to even know her behavior like that. You should probably, for the sake of you and your sanity, just go buy the little $10.99 kit. It's no different from a pregnancy test or no different from going to get your house tested for radon, which you should be doing. Go swab the baby's mouth. It doesn't even hurt the child. He probably thinks it's a finger or a nipple or something. Swab the baby's mouth and just put it in the mail. 1-2 step. It's just a step process. And just wait for that form to come in. And you can save yourself a lot of drama.
I think she should go to jail for theft by deception.
Listen.
And she should be on probation and have to disclose to every man from that point forward that she put a fake kid on somebody. Matter of fact, in the manosphere, if y'all want to do something that actually changes something, put together a petition.
I'm not advocating. I'm not advocating for these women. But what I'm telling you is men, please just start being smarter with this situation. We see how people are moving. You don't know what you got, right? Just be smarter with it. Don't get yourself. We've seen these situations happen over and over again. So now that you know better, you got to do better and advocate for yourself. Go get it done. It's that simple. This is not your wife. She should not feel any kind of way when you say, listen, baby, I want a paternity test. If she is bugging, red flag. Get the freaking paternity test.
To the manosphere, to everybody that be on the men's side, I need y'all to put a petition together to get the laws changed for default judgment and child support.
For the but moving forward, because
it's one more law they need to change. that also to petition for theft by deception for a woman stealing time and resources from you by putting a fake baby on you, I would sign that petition.
Okay, so just something I want to throw out there real quick, because I don't actually agree with or disagree with Shan, but this is what I'll say. And in most cases, it's typically not a pump and dump, because those dudes will, I'd assume, ask for some type of paternity test. It's the situations where you're with this chick for 3 or 4 years and she got pregnant, and like, you don't have, as a man, when there's really no reason for you to question it, because you, like, for example, why would I question my wife if my kid is mine? You know what I'm saying? Why would I do that? Like, that to me doesn't even make logical sense, because then I chose the wrong woman to marry. So I understand about getting a requesting a paternity test. I do. I get it. I really do.
Let me just
But
tell you this: even if you do a paternity test and you married, that baby gonna be yours, because by the state of law, if she's pregnant and you're married to her, that kid is automatically yours. Period.
except in Tennessee, or is it Kentucky? It's one of those states. That law just changed. But anyway, but what I'm saying is, why would I question it? In those type of scenarios, I get questioning the random chick I may have bust down 3 times. I get questioning that. That makes sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
But what doesn't make sense to me is me thinking that we are in a committed long-term relationship, and you got pregnant and the baby not be mine. That's where the woman is really foul. Now, on the other hand, men, this is what I actually advocate, by the way. Don't move in with a woman. Don't do any of don't have her move in with you. Don't impregnate her. Don't drop your seed in her until y'all get married, until you've done the proper vetting. Until you've done all of that, keep her as your girlfriend, and don't do that stupid shit like dropping your seed off. Don't do that. Don't do that.
And let me make it very clear. I'm telling you that there are trifling women out there. I'm just telling you a way that you can protect yourself so that you don't have to be involved in the foolery. Just protect yourself. Get that test. If I'm gonna tell you now, God forbid my son ever brought home a kid that was unexpected. It is not. He can blame it on his mama. My mama is requiring me to get a paternity test because we're not doing that.
If your son came home and he said he had a baby and he dropped out of school so he could take care of the baby, and he raised him for 10 years to find out that it wasn't his kid, what do you think the response to that should be?
Oh, that wouldn't be my son. Do you want me to look at from a view of somebody else?
Yeah, not your son directly. I'm just saying, like, I want it to be personal, not your actual son, but imaginary son, your imaginary son.
Okay.
How would you feel about that? What do you think the repercussions to her should be?
I don't know. I look at the situation as being a realistic situation for me. If I had a kid and there was a child that I had grown attached to for 10 years as a grandparent, I don't really know that I could even separate myself from this. I know she's trifling. We'll look at her as trifling, but I'm able to remove myself from the parent and the kid. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, I'm the grandmother of this child. I've been 10 years is a long time to grow a connection with a child. You know what I'm saying? But I'm also a person who doesn't mind adoption. Some people don't have adoptive spirit in them. I'm that person. I teach kids for a living, so I'm just a different person to ask. Yes, I think that she's trifling in the situation, but at this point, I have an attachment to the kid. And I can't just throw 10 years of this kid, my relationship, my memories with this kid, because their mama is trifling. Because guess what's going to happen? She's going to take the kid away from me, and I'm going to be wondering, is the kid okay? Because that's what as a mom, that's what I do. I've already got the attachment. It's too late. So I would hope that you would just figure that out, because it doesn't just hurt him. It hurts the entire family, especially if the family was close to the kid, right? So I would say the sooner, and that's why I advocate, that's why I'm telling you, the sooner when you find out she's pregnant, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna support you, blah, 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 because it's my kid, right? But we're gonna make sure it's my kid. You got to make sure it's your child and move forward from there. Start from the beginning. Boop. Don't waste no time.
Same scenario.
I'm gonna have to defer to my husband because, like Shan, it would be an emotional decision. Like I don't think I would be in the headspace to make a smart decision. So my husband's just gonna have to be the one to call the shot. I don't think I could do it.
You said you don't think you could continue, or you don't think you could separate from the kid, is what you're saying?
I don't think I could make a decision, is what I'm saying, because I'm emotionally invested in the child. Even understanding that she did what she did, I'm also invested in my child. Like I would have no idea what the right call would be, and I'd have to trust my husband's decision.
What do you think the penalty for her should be for that?
She going to hell. That's a good penalty.
I mean, there's that, but she's definitely gonna have to pay some damages. You're gonna have to figure something out. Like if Mariah Carey could sue her ex for wasting her time, I think we could find a way to get my son some payback.
Wait a minute, she sued her ex for wasting her time.
Mm-hmm.
What? She sued
and to get the ring. Yep. So if she could do that, we could find a way to get my child compensated. Yep.
That's hilarious.
Now,
Well, shit, we out here. Who wasting my time? Let me see who I can sue.
yeah, I want to go back to what AP was saying. His thought process was, it seems like if he chose a woman, there's no real reason to feel like she should do anything that would jeopardize the kid. That sounds like something about similar to what he was saying. Now, that's a very idealistic way to look at this, because in reality, we all have heard at least one story of a married woman sleeping with somebody else and having a child, and having the other guy who she's married to take care of that child.
And they do so willingly.
They do so. And so the woman knows 100% that's not your child, but she's willing to let you continue to take care of a child, thinking it's your child. She already know that's not your child, right? So just because you feel, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, she should be above it, or that you chose well, doesn't actually mean that you actually did, or that doesn't actually justify or stop somebody else making stupid decisions, even though you did choose well. And I would say it sucks that this has to be a thing, or should be a thing, or a thing people are advocating for, but I think mandatory paternity should be a thing, just so that everybody knows. You know, nobody has to guess, nobody has to wonder, and unfortunately, it's going to make a lot of people pissed off, especially husbands and wives.
I don't disagree with that, though. What I'm saying is, if I'm told, let's take mandatory paternity out of it, right? If I'm told after being in a relationship with this woman for a few years, and I personally don't think that, because I don't say feel typically, I personally don't think that I have been cheated, quote unquote, cheated on, because I would have left her if I'd have thought that. Like that would be the end of the relationship. And I'm under the assumption that the baby is mine. I don't have a reason to actually think it's not until I have a reason to think it's not. Like that's just the way I look at it. And that's the way most men probably do look at it. Now, what I will say, I agree with you. There should be mandatory paternity testing. All births. Period. I agree. I 100% agree with that.
So to go back to what you're saying, and I know in Georgia and many states have followed suit. in order for so before, I don't know when the last time people had kids, you were able to sign like a little affidavit and say, I'm the father, and get your name on the birth certificate. Well, now they moved that out of the hospital. They're saying you have to petition the court to get that to legitimize your kid, right? So now they're moving towards, before you can make it a legitimate situation, you have to get a paternity test, right? The problem is people associate going to court with child support. So they rather just not deal with the court because they feel like if I go to the court and I be petitioning the court, then she gonna put me on child support if I just don't say nothing. The child support, I just rather stay out the court, So if that is your story, that's when you're gonna have to be proactive and just go to a private place and get the swap. Go ahead, Iman.
So to what you were saying, AP, I think there's a lot of men that typically function like that, but as more and more men share their experiences on being conned in that way, there's men who don't have a reason to distrust their wife or girlfriend. But now, like, that seed has been planted. And so you don't have a reason, but it happened to this guy and it happened to this guy. You don't want to be the sucker who another 10 years down the line finds out, right? So there are more and more stories of people who don't have a reason, who are still asking for a paternity test. Unfortunately, those, from the stories I've seen, the women are not as understanding. And so it does risk the relationship, right? That a lot of women, because they know they haven't given that man cause, and it does turn out that they are the father, that it damages the trust in the relationship. So I have a lot of empathy for men in that situation, because it's one of those, like, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think the answer to that would be that women be a little bit more compassionate and understand that it has less to do about trusting you and more so about the growing circumstances that exist with men.
Mm-hmm.
Well, false paternities only happen about 11% of the time. And I say only, I'm not trying to minimize that 11%. I'm really not. But 90% of the time, your ass the daddy. So, like, and I think it's probably been like that forever. Now that we have DNA testing, I mean, we can confirm it. So, yeah, maybe I'm a bit idealistic and I get it. But why run? I know the answer to the question. I don't see why I would run the risk when I don't have a reason to run the risk of ruining a relationship, of ruining a great relationship, to simply say, hey, baby, we need to get this paternity done. Or I could do it behind her back.
Ask her, yeah.
I mean,
You're the parent too.
Yeah, I don't necessarily. I'm not gonna hide it. I'm like, hey, we're gonna get this paternity test done.
Well, in reality, AP.
Let me tell you this. Look. I had a girlfriend, and she was on an earlier show a long time ago. The girlfriend, her child's father, he had another kid, right? She's so Scorpios. She's like, Shan, that is not his kid, right? He didn't get a paternity. She got a paternity for him. She got a paternity.
Did she tell him? Did she let him know it wasn't his kid?
Oh, happily.
Wow.
Yeah,
I told you that wasn't your kid. You always
don't be that man. Do not be that man.
Well, he cheated on her with this other chick, right? And so as the woman you're being cheated on, that's just how that goes. Like, that ain't even your kid. Like, it's just, so he was with my girlfriend. He cheated and had this girl got
I see. Okay.
And so they were having to pick the kid up. She took him back because he's the father. And so one day, that's how my friend had access to the kid, because he brought the kid over. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, this ain't his kid. And she was very strong on it. And so one day she just. And he didn't want to let go. He liked that little side chick, yeah.
All right, the real Pookie with the two. Shout out to Pookie. You gotta survive, Nick. All right, don't hit y'all mans with the Kirk Franklin Queen. Shout out to Pookie.
I don't get that reference.
Maybe he might be able to explain
maybe
it
like
better.
a podcast show that he did, and we just don't know what the comment was.
All right, let me ask y'all this: if y'all sister had a child and you knew your blood sister had a child and you knew that the father of the child who thought it wasn't the actual father, would you let him know?
Ooh.
If I knew it, how would I
Yeah,
know?
like she told you like this not his child, but he the best
I would
fit.
talk
So
her into doing what's right. Like, come on, what we doing here?
what if she was like, under no circumstances will I do what's right? He gonna have to eat this. What are you doing?
See, I'm petty. I'm throwing little side stuff when we had to get together. I'm like, man, have you had that baby tested yet? And I would say it for years too.
I'm just glad I don't have family members that roll like this, because this is ethical. This is all about like how you move, your character. Like, come on. Mm-mm.
So Inaz, you telling?
Yep, I'm telling you.
What if your sister disowns you? And you get discarded from the family? That's what you.
So here's the thing, right? Is I don't talk about my family too much, but my sisters are very much the type of people who would tell on me. So it's just a very reciprocal kind of energy, right? But no, honestly, I think that my heart would break for that child, right? Like, these are two grown adults playing really petty games. Whatever her reason, if it's a cheating situation, a get back situation, it really doesn't matter. Like, at the end of the day, that child deserves to be raised in a way where their heart won't get broken. And you lying to them about who their father is a sure way that, like, they might disown me, but her child's going to disown her when they find out, right? So I'm not too worried about any sort of karma, but I can't. That poor baby.
You know, I saw a situation online, and this was some years ago. And well, not years ago, probably a couple months ago. I'm sure, I don't know how to say years, but I remember, and this is for the married man. There was a situation where a guy who was married, his wife divorced him, right? And when the wife divorced him, she had an affair with somebody at the workplace or somebody, and had a kid by that person who did not want the kid, but the husband took her back along with the kid.
He better than me.
Some people can do it.
Yeah. Because the crazy thing about it was I posed this question. I remember at that time I asked some people who were married, and I was amazed at how many married men, that they probably would.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. No, keep it real.
For
I ain't built. No, I ain't built for it. No, yeah. You stepped out. We split up. You got nutted in, and you coming back. No, I ain't built for it. You left. Your ass was gone for a reason.
Yeah, that's a really dangerous situation. Like, yeah, no,
like, it's now, like I saw one today, and if I find it, I'm a because I think I may have liked it, so maybe my likes, where you know how they doing the things like, you know, you're a mixed woman when you where they had one, and if you probably put in the search in, they had one where the woman was like, you know, you're a single, you know, you're divorced. Basically, her husband comes and does everything because he doesn't know how to do it. So he showed up. He's like, I got you. And so she's saying she calls her ex-husband for everything. So at the end of the reel, they say, well, if you guys do all of these things, then why are you divorced? And then she was like, you cheated on me. He's like, well, you got pregnant by another man. So that was
nothing for her. She burned from that day forward.
Yeah, so, never.
I kid you not. Let me look for this reel.
Never would I ever. Nope. Hey, I know we're divorced in our situation, but there's something wrong with the pipe under the kitchen sink. The fuck that got to do with me?
Gotta call that nigga you let lay the pipe in you to fix the pipe, bitch. What is you talking about?
Like,
Oh, man,
how you
hell
still
no.
got my number? I thought you would have erased it by now. What the fuck? We got nothing to talk about.
What's that challenge called? Do y'all know what challenge I'm talking about?
Nah, I challenge not to punch in the face.
How do you go look at
Listen,
your likes?
women always keep the receipts. They be keeping them. They keep your number. They keep tabs. They keep all the things. So even though she want to leave, she keeps the door open. But I think part of the reason why a lot of women don't seem to have any empathy for men in these situations because they didn't give the guy a reason, but also because it's never a question that child is theirs.
Yeah.
It's never a question. It never will be doubt that that's their child. Now, at the off chance that child gets swapped in some movie style, that, you know, the similar baby got swapped and they got handed the wrong baby, maybe. But more times than not, women will always know when they gave birth to a child, that's their child.
It'd be
There are
so
only
nice to see
times
more
they
people
do
looking like,
question,
oh, I didn't know.
you know, so
They be knowing the whole time. You seen the dude, this is a side note. You seen the dude from Chicago with like 15 baby mamas, and they all was in the courtroom, and all the kids was his. Not one came back not his.
He was probably hoping he could delete to get rid of some of them.
All of them was his. And you know what's even crazier? It was women who saw that show because they all named them like Quavius or something. Like it was like John Quavius, Tom Quavius, Mark Quavius, Shaw Quavius, G Quavius, Day Quavius, Nay Quavius, They Quavius. All of them was called Quavius. It was women who watched that show, called in to find him in Chicago so they can get a baby by him to name him Quavius. I swear to God, I can't make this up.
They do it like that in Chicago?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
but here's the truth, because we've
Let me
heard this.
find his name.
We've heard things on this panel where women talk about the reducing sperm count and the bad sperm and all of this. When women know that a dude got his sperm swimming to the finish line, why not use him as a sperm donor? Shit, he's winning in it.
Wait, because when Shan showed that video of that dude who had, like, I don't know, what was it, Shan? Like 13, 15 kids?
All the attractive kids.
Yeah, all different baby mamas. Y'all were like, nuh-uh, no way, no, don't do it. But now we're advocating for it?
No, I'm absolutely not. Let's be clear. First of all, I'm joking. But no, ladies, if a dude got more than 2 baby mamas, don't be the third.
yeah,
Don't
there
be
is
the third.
Future,
Maybe he was
there
married
is Nick Cannon, and there are Antonio Browns.
What if he was married
Have
to
all
one
of the kids, and women know that they got all of the kids, and they still have sex with these guys and
Shit
have
is
their
crazy.
kids.
Shit is
What if he
crazy.
was married to one of them?
Doesn't matter. Like, you got more than 2 baby mamas. If a man got, I'm gonna stand on this.
Oh, a baby mama and a wife, meaning. I'm sorry.
Well, hopefully he's still married. Otherwise, he got 2 baby mamas
Okay.
or 2
His name
ex-wives.
is Raynell. If y'all want to look this up, it's worth watching.
His name
He
is
had
what?
like is Raynell. So he had three episodes. He got his own playlist.
I'm looking for this real.
So his wife, girlfriend, mistress, and several kids. So he went on paternity court like 3 or 4 times. Then he went to Maury after that another 3 or 4 times. And then during the pandemic, it was a virtual girl called in. That's how I heard the story about her finding about the nails. And if you just type in Raynell paternity court, it's gonna pop up. He got like some braids to the back. He like real thin. And it's like 3 women in the court at the time. Then they had the other women waiting in the hallway and shit.
So he's a real life Ray.
Yeah, his name is literally Raynell. I'm sure one of them kids named Ray.
Dang, I wish I could find it real.
Hold on, let me see. Dang, I don't be having the chat open. I'll post it in the chat for y'all so y'all can go check it out. I'm gonna put it in the
Y'all better leave these Ray Rays alone.
Child, it ain't just the Ray Rays. Look at this right here. This nut, because I had sent this to mistaken. Hold on. This nut right here.
7 kids with 6 different women.
You can't see it.
Y'all want to know how many baby daddies each one of my baby mamas have? Me and Alicia have 2 daughters together, but then she also has 2 sons with 2 different guys. So Alicia got 3 baby daddies. Me and Kathleen have 1 daughter together, but then she got married and had 2 other kids with her husband. So Kathy got 2 baby daddies. Me and Chelsea have 1 son together, and then she had another son with somebody else. So Chelsea got 2 baby daddies. This is Alyssa, who I'm currently with now, and we have 1 son together, and she doesn't have any other kids. So I'm her only baby daddy. Brandy already had a daughter before me and her had our daughter, and then she had another daughter with somebody else. So Brandy got 3 baby daddies. And
it just goes on.
What the?
I'm just glad it wasn't us this time.
What the hell is wrong with people? And it affects everybody. It's not just black folks. We just saw a gang of these white hoes out here. Oh my God. Yeesh.
If it was universal income and you didn't have to take care of the kids, how many kids would you have?
That's not a fair question. I ain't
10.
answering it. I
need a basketball team.
I ain't answering. Because imagine I could have a high school full of kids that are all mine. Basketball team, volleyball team, football team, baseball team.
Yeah, I want a basketball team.
So what's that, 5 or 10?
10. 5 starting, 5 on the bench.
You got to have 2 reserves, sir.
That's why I said 5 on the 5 in the
5 starting, 5 on the bench,
bench,
and 2 additional reserves.
Nah,
That's 12
we got
on the
10.
squad.
You got 10 HDs and we good. You don't need no extra reserves. We Gucci.
I think I'd be trying to set a record. I want like 2,000 or some shit like that. Like some Genghis Khan numbers. I'm trying to repopulate portions of the earth. Like it'd be named Smoothville. It'd be a whole lot of tall niggas that just be chill as fuck.
What I will say, that would be the end of ghost town.
Smoothville. You say what?
That'd be the end of ghost towns.
Yeah. No, I repopulate some shit real quick. Be out there living my best life with all my kids. We'll be kicking it, boy.
Hey, look, no moral responsibility. Character goes out of the window. Integrity is gone. You heard what this brother just said. Hey, look, I'm repopulating the whole town. I heard you, Marcus.
Yeah, but look, it would. So it would have the ultimate, because I would still train them all. I would do it in lecture halls. Like I'd be teaching all the kids in the lecture hall. I'd be on a megaphone. Do unto others as others do unto you.
My man won a Chinese Tai Chi training regimen out there. He got like a temple full of his kids. This is the first section of kids. It's the first 500 kids. That's one section. Then the next hour, the next section of kids come in, and he can, you know what? I can see that. Hey, you got this giant megaphone with the speakers all around the whole entire the kingdom, right? And then you just instruct all of the kids for the nation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I got like 8 billion sperm. I know it's some crazy combinations in there, and I'll be doing the world a service by some of the sperms that ain't make it to life could have changed the world. I could have been. I'm actually doing a disservice by not having 2,000 kids. I think all men are doing a disservice because you don't know. You might have a Stephen Hawkins inside your genes, and you just letting it die on a napkin. But you could have had 2,000 and been teaching them.
I think you just made the best. I think you just made the best case for universal income I've ever heard.
Yeah, we can solve
or it's
all
on
the
their
world
stomach,
problems.
or it's on their back, or their chest, or their forehead.
Oh man. Oh man.
Hey,
You
Nas, why you
remove
run from them 2,000 kids?
Y'all just don't want to pay for the kids. That's what the issue is.
Yeah, I mean, I can't afford 2,000 kids. If I could, I'd have them. Believe me, if I could afford 2,000 kids, I have 2,000 kids.
Woo!
Y'all think I'm joking? I'm so serious. I'm so serious.
Yeah, I don't want those problems. Give me 10. I'm good.
And I can probably do 10 now, but I want 2,000. I think that should have probably take like 10 years.
Would it really though? All you got to do is find 2,000 willing women. You can do that in a year. You can knock that out in less than a year, bro.
Why? Oh, so you talking about from different women? That's just tacky.
You can't
My
have
kids need
2,000
their own
women.
moms.
Yeah,
They would
that's
need their own moms.
Yeah, you can't
but-
have two.
yeah,
One
but
woman not having 2,000.
you're gonna have fatherless kids
I'm gonna be there. What are you talking about?
For
Lecture hall.
for 2,000
Lecture. Lecture hall. Lecture hall? Anyone? Did I not say?
He said he gonna,
I didn't plan on leaving.
He basically gonna have an Amish compound.
Yeah.
Listen, my man is gonna have a university.
The Amish.
It's gonna be university white university.
Look, we had the best basketball team, the best football team. It'll probably, we'll be winning. Y'all, my daughters will be behaved and intact, so they'll be able to attract the best of the best from somebody else 2,000 tribe.
You're gonna have at least one floozy in there. 2,000. The chances are it's gonna be at least one floozy.
The funny thing is, if you had a university called White University, they'd be mad confused when there were a bunch of black people in there.
I cannot find
I
this.
changed my name. I just changed it. I just changed it.
Oh, change it to Marcus Black.
Did you see the like I looked this up one day because I was curious on how many kids, who had the most kids, and I think it was a dude who had like around that number, like 1,000 to 2,000. I can't remember what the number is.
And he was
And
overseas,
this lady who
right?
had like 80 kids, a Russian lady.
It was a guy overseas, right? He was like a Middle Eastern.
Yeah, let me look this up.
And he had like all of these kids, and they just all was in the same freaking neighborhood, in the same community. He made like a community of kids.
If I wasn't so anal retentive and using condoms, I probably could have. Let me just look this.
You said what? You said anal retentive.
You probably could have caught something. No, Marcus, that's nasty.
What? What's nasty? No, I'm not saying anal. No. I'm saying like I use condoms habitual. Like I was no. Y'all get your mind out the gutter. That's what's wrong.
I mean,
if I would have been careful and I would have not had condoms. You need.
Oh, you saying this? I thought. Oh, well, my mind in the gutter. My fault. I thought you was talking about something else because I said anal retentive. I thought you meant I was talking. Never mind. Let me just see how many kids people.
1,725 to 1,765.
That's how many he had.
They can't be sure. Yeah, dog. And this was a long time ago. It said Valentine was apparently rather busy. Yeah, hold on. I'm reading, like they have a whole list of people, and I'm trying to read through which one has the most because they got several listed here. This is hilarious. The Garden of Forking Paths.
Biology is undefeated, though. It proves the case for polygamy because the next closest is women with like 60 or 70 kids. Dude had like 2,000. I'm just saying.
44. No, that's not even in it. 20. Oh, okay. No, I read that wrong. That was the date. 16 pair of twins, 7 sets of triplets, 4 quadruplets, One woman, 69 kids. Jesus Christ.
Apparently, there's a book called
Genghis Khan has fathered the most children in history, as estimates range between 1,000 and 3,000 direct offspring from his enormous harem.
And I say I'll be Genghis Khan in 2000. I'll be knowing. I looked this up because I actually wanted to do it, but I just don't have the money for it. It's like, damn.
Well, you could just donate your sperm to a sperm bank, and then you could just spread it that way.
No, I thought about that, but I want to have direct control over raising them because I don't want them to be not. I got some specific DNA that need tutelage. Like I need to be able to navigate some of the things, epigenetics and stuff. So,
well, you could be like, before you use my sperm, man, you need to speak to me.
No.
And Bertold Weisner was the sperm donor for about 40% of the 1,500 pregnancies from his fertility clinic, making him the father of an estimated 600 children. I didn't even get to enjoy it. That ain't right.
Bro, can you imagine seeing 600 kids say they're yours?
He did in court.
For real?
Yeah, all those parents sued him. They paid for sperm donors that weren't him. They were all his kids. He conned them all.
Yeah, I'd have trouble dealing with 10 kids. I can only imagine what 600 kids looking at me talking about, you my daddy. I'd be like, that's tough, bro.
Man, that getting new me. When I think about the song, He Got the Whole World in His Hands, I think that's like a sexually explicit song for self-pleasuring.
Marcus.
All right. Is it too late? I don't know. My brain be going all over the place.
And that's what we're going to end this note right here because it's a little out of hand. It is.
Yeah, it's past my bedtime. You know,
it's past Marcus's bedtime.
That shit was funny. The whole world in his head. All right, never mind.
It's not going to age well. It's not going to age well.
It's definitely not going to age well. Because it died mentally in his head.
You're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to be like, what the hell did I just say last night? But it's okay. But you guys, thank you guys for being here. Did you guys have anything else to say? No?
I do.
Okay.
I appreciate sharing the panel with you wonderful, beautiful people. HD, you my dude. Marcus, salute, brother. Dan, damn, if we were single. Inaz, I know you hate my guts, but you're a beautiful woman.
Love you.
No, but I had a good time tonight. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, it was.
No
Salute,
problem.
sir. Much respect.
Okay, you guys. Well, night. Have a great weekend and an awesome week. We'll see you again next Friday, maybe. Same time, maybe.